Yo, hello everyone. Welcome to another Project Feline livestream. Thanks so much for dropping by, glad you could make it. See, we got some people here already. Hey everyone. So I'm just getting my project. I slept in this morning, so I'm scrambling to get everything set up. But yeah, so we're going to be doing some more game dev today on Project Feline, the anime-styled parkour. Did I miss a word? Anime-styled parkour game. Yeah, I think I keep changing the tagline because I keep finding new words. It used to be wall running game, and then I just made it parkour game because it's kind of like what it is. So yeah, we're going to be working on that. Now, I've done something completely new that I've been working on for the past couple weeks, and I haven't shown anyone this yet. So it might seem a bit strange, but I thought I'd do some work on it before the next video comes out. Oh wow, we got a lot of people here actually. I'm just checking the chat, seeing how many people? 50 people. Yikes! You're making me nervous. Well, thanks so much for coming. I'm glad you could make it. I was feeling a bit lonely, so I thought I should do some streaming. I could actually try and get some work done. So hopefully, all my stream stuff is set up properly. Literally, I just woke up and clicked the button. So I think I fixed the volume bug from my last stream where the music was too loud. So hopefully that's still fixed. Anyway, let me show you what I've been up to. That's all what you want to see. Oh yikes, I gotta turn off some layers. I'm actually using folders now, so hooray. Alright, so some context. Let me play around the level and then I will explain what's going on. Let me just disable screen messages. There we go. Alright, so I'm building a new map and it's kind of like a semi-open world. I know it sounds crazy. I said I wasn't going to do open world at all. And this is I don't know if I'd call it open world, but it's semi-open. And yeah, so what I decided was, because I was I did the Skyport map in the last video. If you haven't watched that yet, check out my YouTube channel, link down below. Latest video, I talk about the new map. And I made it, and it was an obstacle course sort of map. And it was about 1 minute to 2 minutes long. I think people enjoyed it, people have been playing it and they've been giving me some good feedback on it. And I just remember after making it, I don't know, something deep inside me just felt weird. I still couldn't quite picture Project Feline being entirely made out of those maps. And I don't know what it was, I I looked at it because it's, again, level design doesn't come to me very naturally at all. So I was like, I don't know if it's just I'm just not practiced enough at level design to get a feel for whether this will be viable. I don't know, but something was there telling me, saying, Ray, this is like, how the hell are you gonna make this work for like 7 levels or something, or however many? I'm like sticking with 7 because it seems like a number that might be achievable. I know most games have like 50 levels or something crazy, but I'm like I'm not Sony, I'm just me. So I thought 7 like short 2-minute levels. But then, I don't know, something still felt weird. So I thought, well, I mean, I had this concept in my head for ages of like maybe trying something a bit more like an open hub. And I thought, well, seeing as my brain has just done a bunch of blockouts, maybe I should block out a new like open level and test it. And it's far from finished. I haven't like barely built anything yet. But it's based on a train station. And this is like the terminal, and this is like going to be the goal. And yeah, I'll actually explain what this level is, and then I'll explain more of the story behind it. So it's based on a real train station, actually, one that I frequent. And I thought, I really like the place, it's got a cool vibe to it, and I thought, well, I could try building a level based on it, that might be cool. So they got the terminal here, and what this level is going to do, it's got a different rule set. I haven't loaded up the game mode yet, but I'll switch it in so you guys can see. What did I call it? Oh, is it here? Okay, here it is. So it's got a different rule set, completely different than the other game, the other levels. So in this game mode, you need to collect these orbs, which you might recognize from the other maps. I haven't put any in here yet, but you're gonna collect collectibles. And instead of it keeping track of your time, it actually counts down from 3 minutes. So you've got a time limit, and you need to collect them all as quick as possible. And I've got health in the corner there, because I want it so that with each new collectible you pick up, like an event might trigger. Like if you collect 10 orbs out of 100, then like a bunch of drones spawn in and start chasing you to sort of get that sense of urgency. And I want it so that you can only take like a certain amount of hits before it's like game over and you get captured or something. And I don't know, something about it just seemed... It felt like more scenario friendly, if that makes sense. Because I was really, I don't know, inspiration just kind of hit me where I was trying to picture scenarios Gabby would be in the game story. Because I don't know what people are expecting, really. I think people expect something kind of serious that's like, you know, very complicated, kind of like, I don't know, I can't think of any examples. Sort of like an anime story where they're all kind of high stakes and stuff. But I don't know, inspiration struck. And I kind of felt like doing something a bit more everyday. I don't know if that makes much sense. I don't know if that's the right word for it. But something that's like I could better relate to as a human sort of thing. Like, wondering, what would Gabby eat for breakfast? How does she make her tea? Like, very mundane things like that. I was just very fascinated by. And I just had all these ideas for like scenarios of, I don't know, maybe she's got to get to work and she's got to catch a train, and then that's sort of why I built this level based on a train station I've actually been to. And yeah, I don't know, I decided to pursue it because it made me feel relaxed. It made me feel excited instead of stressed, unlike many of my other ideas. So I thought, well, this is making me like happy and not anxious, so maybe I should give it a shot. And here we are. So I have like a bunch of layers. I tried to like get, because again, this is based off a real place. And I want to try and jazz it up a bit and put my own spin on it. But I've been trying to get the general layout, so I've just got a bunch of map data from all these different sources. And they're all different, which is really frustrating. All of these have slightly different proportions, and it made me realize how unreliable Google Maps is. So I've been trying to like build it to these specs, but I've had to make some liberties here and there, so I'm going to be working on those. But yeah, before I get into focus mode, excuse me, might just see if there's any chat questions here about this, because I know this is really strange now. This is like a completely new direction, but I thought, screw it, might as well give it a shot now instead of later. I don't know, it just felt like the right time. It's more of like an intuition thing, I guess. I just want to change my game mode back to the free roam mode so I don't have to wait for that countdown timer. Because I added a countdown to that mode in particular. and I could talk for ages about how I set that up. It's quite interesting, but if you guys want to know more about it, I'll show you some code, but I think we'll stick to level design for the most bit. So, are you intimidated by asset creation at all? Asks you, Battler. Yeah, a little bit, I'll be honest. What I do plan on doing, because I'll bring up some of those old concepts from the other map, because it's all made of the other map I was doing last time. That was all made of shipping crates and stuff. And what I had planned on doing was surfing the old Unreal Marketplace for some assets that looked like these, and retexturing them or something, and then just having that. I was thinking to just use the assets straight up for the V-Slice, and then touching up the textures for the final game. In fact, yeah, there's actually, oh my god, there's like a whole topic on this that I find so interesting. Where's my old itch page? I want to find that, because there was a game I did that was actually, because I don't know if you guys know, but I was actually in an article recently about asset flipping and asset ripping, and the article kind of did a poor job at distinguishing the difference between asset flipping and asset ripping. But I want to show you guys an example of an asset flip that you wouldn't have guessed was an asset flip, and this was like one of my first games I ever did. This is a screenshot from it, and this is entirely made of assets from Unity's, not even the asset store, just the default Unity assets that come shipped with the engine, and then maybe some asset store ones for the character models and that bridge there. But the rocks and the trees and the grass are all just the default grass textures and stuff. I just went and photoshopped and painted them in a different color with brushstrokes instead. And yeah, that's I didn't make a single model for that game. I managed to do it entirely. I just retextured all of them. Like this bridge, some of the older Unity users might remember this. This is from Unity 3, I think, this bridge. It used to be in the island demo, which is the demo that shipped with Unity when I started using Unity. And yeah, I think the only thing I didn't touch up was the skybox. But everything else, I don't know, these aren't the best screenshots, but they all look kind of... It's sort of like, I try to go for like a Life is Strange aesthetic with that sort of roller painted look. So I plan to do the same thing with Feline. And it might sound contradictory to the article, but I think I should clarify that distinguishes ripping assets, where you take, you download a game and then you rip the unlicensed assets from it and try to sell them or something, or do whatever, which is illegal. But licensing assets from a store like Unity is perfectly that's perfectly legal. But I think the article said something about Digital Homicide Studios, which was an infamous story about, that sort of like coined the whole asset flip genre, with people just putting greenlight games up made in Unity, and they all look kind of garbage. And I think what people don't realize is that it's technically fine, like they're licensed to use those assets. It's just it was in poor taste, and I think that's something you can criticize, I think. And this is like coming from someone who's done this myself and has done it for a number of years. It's like, yeah, that it's different to asset ripping. Like using Unity store assets is like technically perfectly legal. It's just some people don't understand what an art style is, or what cohesive means, and it just looks like a, shovelware, I guess is the term. Even though it's perfectly within the license term. So I don't really have much of an opinion on the fact that, they use Unity store assets equals bad. For me, it's more like, okay, they use Unity store assets, good for them, because, they're an indie studio. No one has time to make all those. But I could criticize, well, they put them together very poorly, and that looks bad. I think that's sort of where the distinction needs to be drawn, because a lot of people don't read the paperwork. There's actually there's like a whole licensing document on what you're allowed to do. You're allowed to modify the assets, you're allowed to use them, I think you're allowed to do basically anything except resell them individually, as they were on the asset store, and that's like the limitations. So, thought I'd clarify that, because I know a lot of people are curious about my opinion on that, probably. But anyway. I'm just reading some chat comments. Dark Lord Louis, good to see you back. Mufoya, thanks so much for joining us again. I know it's like the worst time for you probably, but I appreciate it. Gabby late to work with toast in her mouth. Oh, that'd be cute. I got some followers. Thanks, Dupe the Flute for following, and Atomic Blom. Nice name. Surge 101 and Das Yoko and God, I've missed so many names. I'm so sorry. But thanks so much, guys, for following. I appreciate it. I think we're up to over 1,000 followers now. Something crazy. I like saw that the other day, and I was like, oh wow, that's quick. But yeah, as Twitchy Necro puts it here in the chat, yeah, there's a difference between legal and like good taste. Like there's another game that I won't mention that I'm sure most of you know what I'm talking about, but the developer was accused a lot of stealing assets, and I actually looked into it. Like it's claimed that, you know, because he gets a lot of money apparently, this guy, and a lot of people were criticizing, saying, oh, he's stolen assets from all these artists, and that's bad, like we should boycott him and stuff. And I actually looked it up, and actually that's not entirely true. Some of it's true, but it doesn't mean every, like, I think there were some assets that were stolen, but it doesn't necessarily mean every asset was stolen. A lot of them were licensed, and I'm fine with that, because it's, you know, it's within the terms. It's fine. It's just people like to harp on this guy for that in particular, and I don't think that's the worst offending thing that can be criticized with that particular project. But that's just probably as far into it as I'll go. Quick question, says Mr. Vox and Arts. How do you exactly code? I guess the same way everyone else does. I pick up an engine and I start putting in stuff. But if you want to see one of my actual bits of code, I'll show you. I'll show you the game mode that I mentioned earlier. So this new collectathon mode that I'm building the game around, and I'll get more into this after I show you the blueprint. And this is based off a parent class, so it doesn't have everything here, but this is sort of what my code looks like. I try to make it very clean. I know no one's gonna see it, but I have like severe OCD, and it needs to be neat. Otherwise, I can't sleep at night. So I'll run it through very quick. We have the begin play, so this is when the game launches. It'll get the player's health component and set it to infinite lives in case it's not already set to that. Because some characters have different health components, like the drones, for example. And then it starts a countdown, and then where's that? Where's countdown? And then when it starts countdown, it disables your movement, and then does a countdown, and it shows on-screen text counting down from 3, 2, 1. Or it does this, what I've like hybrid modified it to show ready and then go. And that adds that to the viewport and does a timer. And then there's a bunch of other events here. So then there's a stopwatch which counts down from 2 minutes, and that just happens in this timeline. And then when the stopwatch, the stopwatch, sorry, yeah, I'm reading that wrong. So when the stopwatch finishes, it then needs to trigger an event, and I trigger the game over sequence, which is over here. And that will show up some text saying game over or mission failed, and bring the mouse cursor up so that you can click on restart or exit. And then there's a game complete state, where if you collect all the collectibles before the time limit expires, there's the game complete, and it'll stop the stopwatch, and it'll show the results screen and your high score and everything, and let you do whatever. And that's kind of the basic gist of it. And then there's like a respawn and death events. So when the pawn, or the player pawn, or the character, when it dies or when it respawns, this is like the code that decides whether to, because when you die, and if there's an animation, it'll pause the stopwatch and then resume it when you respawn, and that's what this does. And then that's it, basically. Yeah, so that's like just the game rules. I like to put these in the game mode asset. I don't like to put them in the level blueprint. I know some people do that, but I prefer using the game mode blueprint. So that's sort of how my code looks like. I know it doesn't look anything like code, but yeah, it's it does the same thing as code, and it works. And yeah, so that's how it looks. But I was gonna say something about this game mode actually. Yeah, so I'll keep building. Actually, hold on, I gotta get some reference images. And you might be wondering what reference am I gonna use, and I'll show you. I can't bring up all of them because some of them have people in them. But I went to the real location that I'm basing this place off and took some photos. I took a lot of photos, so I'm gonna bring some of those up. So this is like from, I don't know, I didn't take this one, I just got this off the internet. But this is of the location that I'm trying to base it off. So is this one. It's a train station with a bunch of shops near it, and it has these two massive towers up, like on the top, that look really cool, and I've always wanted to like turn those into something. This is a picture near the elevator I took, trying to do the section down here. So yeah, I thought I'd bring these up because I think you guys might find this a bit interesting, because I haven't taken this approach before. And I'll explain. I'll tell you the story on why I went with this approach in just a sec. But I'll just get all the pictures up. So this might start looking a bit familiar now. I've got the escalators and this whole side bit with all these shops. And then there's this. They have a whole restaurant on top of the train station, which I think is really cool. I like to eat there. And then this, I probably won't need this image, but you can kind of see the buildings. These are residential as well. So I feel very jealous of whoever gets to live there because they get the best view. They have some cool artwork too, actually. It's pretty nice. I took a photo of this bench because I thought this looked kind of cool, and I thought this might be I could just use that design for Project Feline. Like, this looks like a cool looking bench. I took some photos of the insides of some of the shops too, because I think I was inside a Daiso shop and the roof looked really cool, and I thought, that's cool. I like it. I don't know what I'm going to use it for, but I like it. Oh, we got the French Spy. Thanks so much for the $5 donation. For some reason, this train station reminds me of the one in Deus Ex: Mankind Divided, which was used in a kind of hub to navigate between levels. Thanks. I'm glad you think it's a cool idea. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what the structure's going to be at the moment. Well, I don't need both of these open. I'll close one of these. But I was thinking, I guess the best example I can think of is like Jet Set Radio, because I picked that game up recently. I've been playing bits of it, and what I liked was that the levels were kind of, how to say, it's like exploring these little dioramas, like these little sets, and you spend a lot of time in each one, and I think there's still a time limit and there's collectibles, kind of like what I'm building here, but you feel there's still that sense of mastery and speed where you have to do it as quick as possible, and that's all the stuff I wanted to deliver, and I was very scared of losing that with this new approach, because I know the speedrunners in particular love their going fast and all that, and I was afraid that it was going to completely derail from that and turn into like an exploration game, which isn't quite, I don't want to go that far into it. But I think this approach, from what I saw in Jet Set Radio at least, it still delivers on those core pillars of speed, precision. Like, it still facilitates that. It's just in a different scope sort of thing. So instead of just zooming through this one little set piece, you get to actually explore a bit, but still use those speed mechanics. So I'm thinking of lining up a bunch of collectibles in this area, and you kind of grind and slide through them, and it's a bit hard to navigate actually at the moment, but I'll have to do some modifications to it. And then maybe some other areas you can wall ride on and stuff, and with some cool gems in the background. I thought that's a cool experience, and that's sort of what Jet Set did, but I wanted to do it sort of differently, because I liked it, but I thought, I want something that feels a bit more modern, because it feels very 90s, and I like it, it's very cool, but it still feels kind of futuristic, and I thought, I want to do my version of futuristic, and that's sort of what I always wanted to do with all of the design approaches so far, but I couldn't picture the other levels. I couldn't picture, like, I just couldn't, in my head, imagine the whole game that way for some reason. But this kind of gave me some ideas. And I saw it like this, and I'm like, I feel like I could do that. Whereas with the other design, I was like, oh crap, how am I going to do that? This is so hard. And I don't actually know which is harder or not, but I think I find this a bit easier because I just see, that's, seeing the world as an obstacle course, I don't see the world that way as an artist. I see the world as more of something that you really get into and absorb. Like, if I go to an environment like this train station, like, I've been here so many times, and I just love being there and absorbing the feel. And that's kind of how I experience the world. I feel like I'm a little figure in a painting. And I just had this vague idea like a few months ago when I was doing my other level. I was thinking, because I was looking at my paintings, and all of them are very... I draw a lot of characters, but the ones I do with environments are very aesthetic and vague. And I thought, because I don't really pay attention that much to the world. I just kind of like being in it, but I don't really look at all the details and stuff. I just kind of look at the whole thing. And I don't know, this approach kind of felt more consistent with that style. I haven't really thought it through enough yet to really know. But that's sort of my raw thoughts at the moment on it. And I don't know, it just felt right. So yeah, I want to experiment because I don't know if it's a good idea yet. I have no idea. It could completely suck. So I want to build it and ship it out and test it, and then just get feedback on it. But yeah, Orbital Drop Guy asks, do you plan on making rest stop levels, having to reprieve from the intense parkour? Not quite sure what that means. I think you mean like, you know, moments of respite throughout the map, or like slower pace levels. And I guess the entire thing is that I want to have those in the level itself, sort of thing. Like there are some slow bits and some fast bits, kind of thing. And I think pacing in each level, I want it to follow that kind of structure where there's fast and slow bits. But then each level has the variety in their mood. That's sort of what I'm picturing. Like there's been that oh, what is it? I can never find the picture, but I think Hoodie Gabby is becoming a fan favorite. And I was thinking, crap, let me find the picture. It was a fan up piece. Well, I did my version, but someone else drew it that was way better. But Hoodie Gabby is becoming a bit of a fan favorite, and I thought I wasn't quite. I couldn't picture how that would work because you can't wear a baggy hoodie and do parkour, right? But I thought, well, what if I had a level like one of these more open levels that had like, you know, and in each level like there was different weather and, you know, it felt kind of different. And then I thought, how cool would it be like at nighttime in the city or something, in this little square, you know, Hoodie Gabby going around in the rain. I thought that'd be kind of cool. So I don't know. I'm just getting these really vague, random ideas. And I'm just deciding, you know, let's just actually try to do something with that instead of keeping it in my head. Because I don't know, it might be good. And it, you know, like I said, these are giving me a bit of hope instead of anxiety, because I think I've been like, 2 years now since I started the prototype. And it's definitely not been easy. It's been quite stressful. So it's been very different to actually have an idea that sounds fun instead of one that's like, oh Jesus, you know, something that makes me nervous. So I thought, well, yeah, I mean, if I feel that way about it, maybe it's right. Maybe it's a good feeling, and maybe I should like just try it. So yeah, so that's sort of what I'm doing. I just really hate how the actual station is at this very strange angle where it's kind of facing north, but not quite. So everything kind of doesn't line up exactly, but I have to like restrain my OCD and say, it's alright, it's just a blockout ray. It doesn't have to be perfect, even though it does. Deep down, it has to be perfect, but I'm gonna try and ignore that. Anyway. Yeah, no problem, dude. That's why I'm here. I'm here to answer questions. That's why I got the chat window. But yeah, I'm glad that I get some cool questions though. I really like answering them. I used to do Q&A videos, but those just it took a bit too long. It took too much time to edit those. And I thought, because that's time taking away from the game, and I don't think that's something people want. But I'm glad I can just hop on stream and do that instead now. But yeah, Hoodie Gabby, yeah, I thought that sort of, again, it's all these just, not ideas, but kind of fragments of ideas, and just like, here's something that would feel kind of cozy, sort of thing. Like, it's just different feelings, and that's sort of how I want to go about it. Something that feels, because I think I don't know, I try to give a balance between intuition and analysis. Because trust me, I overthink the hell out of everything. That's why it takes so long for me to put out each video, because I'm always like stopping for a week and then like reevaluating everything. But no, with this, I'm trying to be a bit more, trust my gut a bit more, and build something a bit more genuine instead of something that's like formulaically perfect, because I don't think that's possible, firstly. And secondly, it's just, I think people like something that's, you know, there because it's, you know, a real experience that someone's trying to build, rather than, this is like targeted at this specific community and give me your money sort of thing. Like that sort of, I don't know. I want to build something that I feel like it has a bit of me in it, you know? So that's sort of what I'm doing here. Anyway, I gotta build like the next floor. So let me get I think that, yeah, so I think I was working on that last night. It was a real pain because I gotta get the staircases the right size, but that's the elevator. I don't have the railings yet. I'm gonna do that later. but that's kind of there. But I don't know what goes. I think the elevator doesn't come up to the 3rd floor, I don't think. And I think this is the 3rd floor facing the other way. So I want to try and build something like that. And I've kind of got... Oh, it's close. That needs to come a bit. I mean, that's kind of... Actually, no, that is kind of accurate. Huh. I didn't realize. Because there's the escalator. I got to make that wider. And then there's this little indent bit here. I'll just read some chat questions. Some more stuff's come up. Aros VR says, I love watching your game dev while I'm deving. Oh, thanks, dude. I don't know how people watch like game dev while they're working. I don't know how you stay focused, but hey, whatever floats your boat, dude. That's great. You have more focus than I do. That's for sure. Nuclear says he used to do parkour all the time with baggy hoodies. Oh, cool. Well, maybe it is possible. I just feel like it would kind of, I don't know, it feels... I don't know. I guess it would look really cute, but I feel like some parkour expert's gonna like criticize the game and say, actually, she wouldn't be wearing this while doing parkour because chafing or something like that. And I don't know, I feel like she would want free movement in her arms, but I do like the outfit. It's so nice. Like I'd want to wear it so bad. But yeah, so I'd like to use that somewhere, but I don't want to use it for the whole game, just to make it feel a bit more special, sort of thing. And then I don't know, maybe it's like an unlockable thing. If you clear all the levels, you can... Actually, no, I had this other idea that I was running by a friend when I was talking about this level idea. And he's like, hey, you know what would be cool? If you're going to have collectibles, he's like, maybe have like collectible outfits and music like hidden throughout the map. And I thought, yeah, that would be nice. I thought, yeah, that would be like... I didn't used to see the value in stuff like that, but now that I'm sort of building the map around finding stuff at high speed, it feels more appropriate. And I thought, yeah, that would like be kind of cool. In the same way that Jet Set does it, where you collect music tapes throughout the map while trying. Actually, there's a few different missions in there. I was playing through it, and there's the normal ones where you have like 500 seconds to spray paint all the areas. And then more and more enemies will come in, and I like that. But then there was another mode where you have to chase people, and that one I really hated. I thought that was like, it took me forever. You had to like chase 3 dudes and spray paint them while they're moving, and the hit detection was just, it's 90s hit detection, so it was very difficult. But I liked how each level had this feel to it. Like the actual levels themselves are really dodgily put together. Like it's a 90s game. There's like no detail in the environment at all, but they trick you with the art style so it looks more lively than it is. And I thought, Jesus, that's so cool how they can bring so much life to an environment so simple. And I thought, I'd like to do that. Because I kind of see environments as more of an aesthetic thing than a functional thing. And I know that's a kind of a contradiction to the whole blockout phase, where it's meant to be purely based on layout and utility rather than aesthetics. And I don't know how well it's going to mesh with my kind of game, but I've seen other games do it, and I thought, well, I like that. I want to try it. Anyway, I think I've talked a bit too much now about all of that thought process. It's still, I don't know, it's still just like in my head. I'm trying to figure out the best way to put it still. But anyway, I gotta get some actual work done. I've set a timer, so thank goodness I remembered to do that this time. So I won't go overboard for like 3 hours or 5. I think I did a 5-hour stream once, and I think that was like my first stream on YouTube. It was like 5 hours long, and I felt so dead after it, but it was fun. The sewer level from Jet Set yeah, I think it was that one with the guys you had to chase, and I just didn't like it. But I liked the sewer though. It was like a cool idea for a level. I thought that's kind of like, it felt fun to play around with. I just didn't like having to chase the dudes. It just felt like, oh, I don't want to chase these guys. I want to explore the sewer. So yeah, the only thing I didn't like about it though is that the movement is the movement hasn't aged that well, I don't think. Everything's aged very well except just the floaty movement, and you don't get a lot of control in the air. And I think that's an easily solvable problem in today's era. And it felt very imprecise, especially on a keyboard and mouse. It's like so hard. It takes a lot of skill, but I didn't want to make it that difficult. So I don't know. A lot of people have been comparing Feline to Jet Set Radio lately because I added grinding. And I thought, well, I don't know, let's see what else I can like learn from that game and try it. So it's not that I'm trying to copy it, but I'm just getting inspired, which is like You know, I haven't been inspired in a long time. It's been a good many months. I was inspired like ages ago, but after doing the character, it's just been kind of difficult to really look at the game and go, what is this going to be? Because that's really important to know, especially if you're committing years to it. And it's been quite the source of stress, because like you're building something and you don't know what it is. It's not something I would wish on anyone, where it's like they build something and they don't know what they're doing. It's difficult, but I'm trying to get through. I'm trying to figure it out. I was hoping that I'd have all this done by now. I had my roadmap updated like last month, and I was planning to have my other map completely finished by like this month. And yeah, that's not happening. No, I think I need to spend more time keeping this in the oven. I don't think I can rush it as much as I thought I could. Like I could finish it, but I feel like it wouldn't. I don't know. I feel like I need to try this. I feel like it needs to be tried, and then I need to come back to the other map. I need to hear the rest of the world tell me that this sucks, because I don't know yet. I can't judge it because I'm making it. I can't judge it objectively. So I want to release it, and if people say that this is bad and this is like, oh, this is such a detour, and there's a lot of not just personally they don't like it, but there's actual design flaws I'm missing. If that comes up, then I'll gladly go back to the old approach. But I'm curious on where this is going to go, because I don't know. Maybe it's a good idea. Could be. So I want to see how that goes. Now, hold on a second. Okay, yes, because the escalators on this side do something different, where there's two on top of each other, but then there's one over here on this level. So I think that's for the higher level. Okay, so I think that's fine. I don't have to worry about that yet. I've played Sunset Overdrive. Everyone's been asking me that, like, for the past month. It's just been non-stop. Everyone's been like, oh, there's this game, Sunset Overdrive, on the Xbox, even though it's also on PC now. And like, oh, you should play it. And it's like, yeah, I've played it. You know, I didn't play it very long. I only played like the first few missions, but I've definitely... It's by Insomniac. I'm a Ratchet & Clank fan. Of course I've heard of it. But yeah, that was okay. I liked the style and the grinding. It felt really cool, but it was very autonomous. And I don't know if that's exactly what I should be going for. And it was more around the combat. Like, that's what the grinding was there for. Is there to facilitate combat. And mine isn't. So mine's kind of there to... I don't know why mine's there, actually. That's a problem. It's not to facilitate combat, but I think it's to facilitate a different mode of movement. But I remember expressing concerns about it in my last video because it doesn't do much for the pace. And that's why I was like, oh crap, this might be a problem. But I don't know, people like it. It's getting people to compare the game to like Sunset Overdrive and Jet Set Radio, which are all good games. So I thought, oh well, I guess we'll keep that in for now. Because I'm just worried that it facilitates going fast, and so does every other mechanic, and it doesn't do very well for pacing. It just makes it fast all the time, and then that, you know, contrary to what you may think it does, it actually is really boring, which is bad, because that's like, people are going to play it and they're going to be like, oh, cool. It's like in a movie, and it's always the climax of the film. It just isn't, it's not a fun film if it's always like at the climax of the movie, you know? There's a whole science on pacing for that sort of thing that's, I won't go into now, but it's, I learned a bit about it a few years ago on a pacing graph, and I don't know how I'm going to pace out a graph for Feline, but, it kind of opened my eyes up a bit. Hold on a minute. I'm missing a staircase piece here. Ah, there it is. Yeah, I was like, wait, there's something missing. There we go. But yeah. Oh, it's Tim that said that. Hell yeah. Man, my man Tim. He coming to all the streams lately. Reading some chat questions. Oh, the PS5? No, I haven't watched that actually. I woke up and then hit go live, so I haven't really done anything today except this. But I heard that there's like a new Ratchet & Clank that's been announced, and that's about all I know. I don't know. You guys fill me in here because I have no clue what happened in the reveal besides a new Ratchet and Clank game being announced. So I don't know. I'm the old boomer. You guys have to fill me in on the gaming. Is the PS5 winning, son? Oh my god, Ratchet died? What? Why would they put that in a trailer? You gotta suspend that for the game. God, they're spoiling it already. The PS5 got shown. Oh, nice. Looks like a Wi-Fi router. Oh boy. Oh, let me Google it. PS5. What do we got here? Oh wow. That's not it, is it? That looks like a concept. Is this the real one? This is such a small picture. Is there a bigger one? I know this one. This is the dev kit. That's definitely not it. That's just a PS4. The future of I kept seeing this picture everywhere. Is this it? Eurogamer. The white one. I'm gonna guess it's... Well, there's two pictures of this one, so I'm gonna assume that's it. Oh man, that's funky. It looks curved. I don't know how I feel about that. It feels like it's... It feels like it's like in between two rice crackers or something. It's interesting. Very curvy. Like, I'm just concerned on how it's gonna stack in a shelf. Like, I don't know. I personally don't stack my consoles, but I imagine some people might want to put something on top of it, like a monitor or something. And I don't know how it's gonna sit on top of that. Is there other pictures of it? Come on, don't tell me that's the only... Surely there's a bigger picture of it somewhere. Why is Channel 9 talking about this? Jeez. Let me skip to see if there's like a frame of this that shows what it looks like. I'm very curious now. I have to know. All the fancy visuals. Yeah, I don't want this fancy particle stuff. I want you to show me the... There we go. Alright. Huh. That's not where I thought the disk drive would be. This is interesting. I'm just curious how it's gonna, like, performance and gameplay wise, like, if it's gonna be that much of a leap forward. So it looks like it's designed to be stacked. Well, it has a stand. So I don't know if you can actually stack that on its side. Is it? Yeah, I don't know. Can you stack that on its side? I don't think you can. There's no flat side. So yeah, that's like just what's got me. Oh wait, they have two versions. They have one with a disc tray and one with that one. Okay. Wait. What does that say? Oh, digital edition. Huh. The Wii is back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, dude, I had this great story from like a year ago. Yeah, it was a year ago now, jeez. But I really missed my Wii because I sold it when I was like 15 for an Xbox. And I regret that because I only bought an Xbox to play Halo. And now you don't need an Xbox to play Halo. Stupid idea, Ray. But I decided I want to buy a Wii again. And there was a guy around my area selling one for $50, super cheap. So I picked it up and it was in like brand new, well not brand new, but it was in very good condition. And it came with Mario Kart and Wii Sports. And then I went and picked up some more games for it. And I found like 5 games with Mario Galaxy and all the classics for like under $10 in total. And it was like, oh, the best day of my life. And I haven't really played it much since, unfortunately. So, yeah, but it was, oh man, the Wii is such a good console. If you have a Wii, never get rid of it. Never do it. Don't do what I did. It's a mistake. Oh, remember the PS4 and 720 concepts? Yeah, I do, from like 2008. These were the bomb. I loved these. It felt so futuristic. Why didn't they go this way? This looks sick. Feels like the future. This is the real future of gaming. Oh man, did anyone have the fat PS3, the original? I had one. It was a backwards compatible one, and it was, yeah, it was a heckin' chonker. It was a unit. Anyway, back to the level. I gotta get back to designing the level. I gotta stop shopping for consoles. But no, yeah, it's interesting with PS5. I'm just curious what kind of games we might see on it. Like, I I think I've said this before, but I don't know. I'm not as excited as I was about like the PS. Actually, I don't remember ever being excited about a game console launch, except like I don't know, maybe the I don't know. Actually, I can't think of a single one I was excited for. I've usually like maybe the PS4, but I can't remember if I was actually excited or not. I just remember. I think, yeah, my brother used to get very excited about it, and he'd always be the one who buys the consoles, and that's how he'd always end up with them. I'd always be very, like, skeptical and frugal, and be like, do we need that, though, sort of thing. And yeah, like, but I'm always glad we do have them. Like, I think I've got a PS2, 3, and 4, and some other, I got the Wii, I got the Xbox 360 and the Xbox One, but I don't know why. I don't feel like we use those for anything. But back in the day, we used them a bit. I'm keeping the 360 though, because I recently purchased a copy, a very rare, it's so hard to find. I purchased a copy of Jet Set Radio Future, which is only released on the Xbox, the OG, and my 360 can run it, backwards compatible, but my Xbox One can't. So I'm keeping the 360 for sure. But it was so hard. I had to find it because it has to be a PAL region one because I live in Australia, and those are so damn hard to find with like in good condition, where it's just it's like the game and the box and the manual, and not just some guy with the disc in like a little case. So after a lot of hunting, I found one, and that's gonna be like my birthday present. So I'm glad I got that. I'm really curious to try it because apparently Future is meant to be like what Jet Set Radio is supposed to be, apparently, or something like that. So I'm excited to try it. I gotta get my reference back. I want to get this one. I'm building this floor. Alright, so that's like, yeah, because the walkway changes thickness on each ground, on each level, and it's kind of weird, but I don't know, there's a reason for it, probably. Is my reference still turned on? I can't remember. I had like a bunch of layers with the maps. I think I turned those off. Yeah, I'll turn those off for now. PS5, Project Feline. I don't know, maybe. A lot of people have been asking if I'm going to do consoles or not, and I honestly don't know. I don't know how hard it is to do console, and I don't want to say I'm going to do it unless I've really researched it and made a decision. It's exciting. Thanks, Airborne Official, for following. Yeah, it's an exciting prospect, but I haven't researched it enough, so I can't really say. And I don't, I mean, I'll tell you what I have seen just from observation. I've seen a lot of games on PS5 that just look garbage. Oh no, not PS5, PS4, or Xbox. Like, there's a lot of indie titles that I'm just like, how did they get this on a console, sort of thing. And I guess it's just a matter of how seriously you take it. Like, it can be whatever game, I think. It doesn't really matter. It's just like, are you gonna like commit and sign a contract with Sony or whatever? And whatever you've got to do, I have no idea. So I guess it's just a matter of how far you want to take it. But it seems that now is a better time than ever to do that kind of thing, because it seems that these companies are a lot less abrasive to indie developers. They're very welcoming. I've seen like some, I don't know if it was branding material or something, but there was something with the PlayStation program, and they're very welcoming of indies now, from what it seems. So yeah, it's piqued my curiosity, but I don't think it's something I should worry about right now, because I still have to actually make the game first, and I don't want to just like say, oh, this has come into Switch and PS4 and stuff, and then it's like I still don't know what Project Feline is, sort of thing. I think that'd be foolish, and that'd be very hasty of me, and I don't want to put myself in that situation unless I know I can deliver. So I know it's nerve-wracking because people want to know, and I do as well, but there's other things I gotta sort out first, ultimately. Like, I don't want to just rush into it and say, oh, well, even if the game's bad, it's gonna come to this. Like, I'd rather like actually know what this is first and then decide where it's gonna go. Hold on a minute. Let me check something feels wrong. Do these, I gotta get my reference back. Oh, does Wii U have backwards? I had no idea. I never had a Wii U. quick question: is this still the crane level from last time? Asks RG Games 12. No, this is a completely different map, and this is also a completely different game mode as well. This is going to be for a new collectible mode that I am building. I explained a bit of it when I started the stream, but if you didn't catch that, I basically, yeah, I wasn't sure how exactly the other map was. Like, I think people liked it, but I still in my gut felt like something was off. And I decided, well, I had this idea for an open level, because a lot of people have also been suggesting things like that. Like the comment I get a lot is make open world, and I don't. Firstly, like that's a very broad comment. I don't think people know what they mean when they say open world. If I'm honest, I think it means something like this. I think is what they were meaning. But open world can mean like, you know, it can mean Mirror's Edge Catalyst. It can mean GTA. It can mean Jet Set Radio. Technically, so I put some thought into what that would mean for this, and this is what I think it means for it. Yeah, it's exciting. It makes me feel excited instead of anxious. So I thought, yeah, well, let's give that a spin, and try it out. So here it is. It's far from finished still. I think it might. I was hoping to have this finished by now, to be honest, but it's just I've had a rough couple weeks. I haven't been doing that well, so I've been a bit slow, but I'm trying. So I don't know, maybe in another week it'll be ready. It'll depend. I've got some stuff on next week. It's been kind of stressful, just like stuff outside of game dev in the real world. And I don't like the real world, it's scary. But yeah, it's just been kind of I haven't had a great time. But trying to keep working on it still, trying to get something done. And yeah, hopefully, I want to say next week. Like, I don't want to give myself longer than that. Otherwise, I'm going to be stuck on this for ages. So that's sort of the deadline I'm setting for myself. And hopefully, yeah, we'll have the build out with this in it and stuff. And you guys can check it out and see if it's any good. Because I don't know. It might be. It might not be. I have no way of knowing. Oh, Tim, thanks so much for joining us, dude. I appreciate it. You've been coming to a lot of them lately. I'm glad that you could stick around. But yeah, if you gotta go for it. Like, live your own life. Don't let me stop you. Oh, I gotta get some more geometry. Here we go. Gotta get one of these. I have to use a lot of these because I don't like putting things on angles. So I just do something like this. Oh, excuse me, I'm a bit sniffy for some reason now. I don't know why, every time I'm on stream, because I always get pissed off, because there's so many other devs I watch that will like get sniffy on stream, and I'm like, why do you guys always stream when you're sick? But no, actually, doing the stream kind of makes you sniffy, I found. I don't know why. It's a mystery of the universe. So now I understand. I'm like, oh, yep. Okay. What the? I don't know why this. Okay, I should probably. I'll bring this down here. And this needs to come a bit lower, actually. Just adjust that because it keeps clipping through the ground. There we go. Now I can't remember what goes here. I think there's like a, I think it's like a set of mailboxes that go here in the real location. So I don't know how I'm gonna block that out. I think I just, well, there's like a bit of gray here, so I might just like block it off. Yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to spend on this area. Oh, what was that? We got a... Oh, MindQ Twitch. Dude, thanks so much for the $20 donation. If I recall, you've been donating for like every stream, so I really appreciate the support. Very loyal. My favorite follower. So yeah, I appreciate that a lot, dude. Thanks so much. Yeah, so if you guys... I don't know if I mentioned, I probably should have mentioned at the start of the stream, but I do have a donate button if you guys want to help me stay alive. It's just down... if you scroll down, there's like a little button with a star on it that says donate. So if you got, it's not mandatory. I'm not going to beg for money here, but if you do have some spare change, I do appreciate any support you can throw my way. Means I can justify more time spent on this, which I think would be good for everyone. Oh damn it! Wait a sec. I don't know if I should bring that forward. I don't know. I should line this up with this over here and then try and scale it somehow. I'm taking a bit of liberties here. This isn't what the reference would look like, but it's, I don't know, it's good enough, I guess. Just gotta, damn it, just gotta bring that floor over. There we go. Ah, damn it, I fell off. But yeah, I think riding on these would be fun. And in the real location, there's like a McDonald's here and a bunch of shops and restaurants. But I think like riding along them smoothly would be really cool for Project Feline. And then maybe grinding up these would be fun. So I haven't had any rails yet, but I want to do that. And then I forgot what actually goes here in the real enactment. Wait, was that what? Okay, I'm losing track of what floor I'm on now. The one I was building was up here. Cool. All right, so that's what I just built. I think this is actually a walkway that goes, and it goes up onto this other area, which I'm not sure if I'm going to build because that's going to be effort. So I might just block that off. I should do that. I think I had a photo actually of that particular bit. This, maybe I didn't have one. Crap. Oh, let me look. I had a photo. Well, this is from the walkway. I don't know if that gets what level that gets, and there's the actual station there. Did I get another photo of that? Please let me have got another photo. Okay, that's above whatever that gets to. So elevator gets from ground to 1, and then whatever is above that is where the walkway goes. So that means that the walkway, okay, that is on this level after all. All right, I just had to make sure. It's interesting. I always track so easy. Fun fact, actually, I was gonna mention this. Yeah, because this is like, I haven't done this approach to level design before, like trying to base it off a location. Turns out that's what Jet Set did, apparently. I was watching a documentary about it a few days ago. And I'd already started work on this map, and I was like, well, I really want to see what they did, because I was curious. I was like, did they do something special that might help me? And it turns out they're doing like very similar to what I'm doing now, where they would go to, I think it was based on places in Tokyo. And they would go to different areas in Tokyo and base it off. And they went to some American locations too, like Times Square, and base a map off that. And I believe they did that specifically for the American region version, because they wanted it to better appeal to the American folks. So that was an interesting little, I was like, oh, that's cool. I guess I'm doing something right then. If that's what they did, then maybe this is not a bad idea after all, but we'll see. So yeah, that was a cool little fact I learned. I just gotta block off this piece of ground. Well, Orbital Drop Guy, thanks for sticking around for the stream, dude. Have I seen the overgrowth physics? Yes, I've seen that. I've been sent that like 100 times. And no, I'm not going to do my movement like that. There's a few reasons. I'm going to do it differently. Mainly because I'm not making overgrowth. I guess that's the best way I can put it. But I'm doing something momentum based. But I found a different solution. But I can't do the way overgrowth did animation wise because of my style. Like that kind of thing won't work with the limited technique because there's too much tweening. So yeah, that'd work for I think any other game, but with Feline I want every animation to be very tightly hand controlled just to feel authentic. So I don't think overgrowth's approach would be would be a good idea for me. But yeah, I sent it like about maybe 2 years ago now. Someone sent that to me. And then they've continued to send it to me for like the months following. So yeah, I've seen it a fair bit of times. Haven't played Overgrowth personally, but yeah, I can definitely see like there's some appeal to it for its movement. But yeah, no, I don't think that's like that's not quite what I have in mind. Hold on a minute. Something's missing here. I gotta make that longer. There we go. Just wondering if this is the right height or not. Because these are 3.5 units. Okay, that's also 3.5 units. And then this is 4. So this is the one that's... Oh, that might not be a problem, actually. Because I think this is... That might be the last floor? I can't remember. Actually, no, that isn't the last floor. The one... Because there's 1, 2, 3... There's a 4th one that goes on top. So, yeah. I might bring these... I'll scale these up a bit. Because, yeah, I use some of the buildings as, like, the floor for the level above it. I'm just not sure exactly. I can't remember all of the details. Because I should have taken more photos when I was up there. Maybe I'll take another trip sometime. But yeah, I try to get as much pictures as I could of like how things were laid out. Because it's a really funky place. It's like kind of a city, but it's a very small kind of city. And then the suburbs are like right next to it. And it has this... There's a lot of like Eastern, sort of Oriental influence there. And it looks really awesome. So yeah, especially for Australia, it's like very nice change of pace from the usual bogan surf kind of streets that I'm used to seeing, with like city beach shops everywhere. So yeah, that's like my kind of place. A lot of good soup and ramen places. So it's like it's really cool little area. It's small and cozy as well, because it feels very big like a city, but it's very tiny. And you know, yeah, I just thought it'd be a cool vibe. I could picture Gabby in that place trying to catch a train, and that's sort of the whole idea for the level. The goal is, I don't know if I mentioned it. I think I did it at the beginning of the stream. But the premise of the level, and this is why I was excited, because I actually had a premise for it. It wasn't just a random level idea. It was like, oh, there's an actual story to this level, sort of thing, like a series of events. And that's like, you know, maybe Gabby's escaped from somewhere, she's on the run, and she's got to catch a train, but she doesn't have any money, so she has to go and collect money from the station, like coins she could collect. And that's sort of the idea, where, you know, you only have 2 minutes before the cops show up and capture you. And that's sort of the idea I had, and that's why I was really excited, because I was actually picturing a story and a scenario to it, rather than just, oh, okay, you parkour through this for whatever reason. So I think I mentioned it, I think, but I don't think I worded it that well. But I think that's like, yeah, that's sort of like what made me excited. That's like a concise way of describing it. So anyway, the platforms will go above here, but I just want to I want to get this bit finished, because I really hate this bit, and it's like the hardest, but I want to get it over with. But I want to see if I can modify it to be also more suitable. But I just want to build the base first, and then say, okay, well, this is how it looks. How can I make it different? Sort of thing. But anyway, I gotta get... let me get my reference planes back. I think... Okay, that comes at a bit of an angle outwards. Since I'm building, says Mufaya, since you're building the environment based off an IRL place, it might be a tough decision to build places like this and might need to create a crowd of people. Yeah, I thought about what would happen there, whether I need to put people like NPCs in. I think it won't, I don't think it'd actually be that difficult if I approach it the right way. I think it'd be cool, because it's difficult with an indie game, right? Because I can't make like an epic, you know, blockbuster story, because it's just not realistic. Like I don't have the manpower for it. But I do have the manpower for a smaller story that's still like fulfilling, but it's like, you know, it isn't over the top. And I have this criteria that I still haven't figured out what exactly the criteria is. But there's just something in my brain that tells me whether something is a smart idea to try or not, and it's kind of based on how it feels mainly. And it's more like, for example, take the NPC thing. Because, you know, you might argue that might be very hard to do because, you know, it's artificial intelligence, they have to behave realistically, and it's like, well, it depends. What I personally think, in terms of what it adds to the game, you might think gameplay-wise it's just an obstacle, right? It might not do much, but I think you can make very easy NPCs in Unreal very easily. Like, I've made patrolling drones, and it took me like a week. And those are actually very smart. They'll actually chase you and stuff. But if you just want NPCs that roam around aimlessly, that's not very difficult. Like, you can set a script to do that and just pick a random point in this nav mesh and just walk there, and then pick another spot once they reach there. Or just walk in a straight line from here to here sort of thing. Like, if you just make 100 of those, or 50 of those, it's not too difficult. If you just get a basic model on them that's very... Like, they don't need to be as detailed as Gabby. And I think there's kind of a charm to having them be not as, you know, like very low detail characters. There's a bit of... like in anime they do that, where they'll have background characters drawn like stick figures or like really blocky, and it looks funny because, you know, it's like people don't look like that, but they do it in real anime, and I think it might add to that. It might add some character to it, and I don't mean like literally adding characters to it, but I mean like, you know, adding a bit of charm. But I think in terms of aesthetic and story wise and what it makes the game feel, I think it makes the game, having those around would make the game feel more alive, in the sense that, how do I put it? It's alive in a specific way. It's like it'll make the world of the game feel more like a world instead of just a map, if that makes sense. It feels like you're going somewhere. It doesn't feel like you're just sitting down at your computer playing some guy's parkour sandbox. It feels like you're actually going to a place and escaping from reality for a bit. And that's the kind of experience I've always wanted to try and deliver. And it's such a very difficult thing to try and quantitatively do, because it's art, and art's very difficult to... There's no right way. There's so many different ways of doing it. But I think for this, for the context we have built right here, I think it would be of value to add those, because it'll make the game... Well, here's an example of when it hasn't been added and it felt weird. In Mirror's Edge... And that's a game I've brought up a few times. And yes, I've played Mirror's Edge. Everyone keeps asking me that. Yes, I've played it, you know. I actually finished it recently. And I didn't really like the story at all. I thought it was kind of bad. And the levels from the original I thought were really cool. But in the reboot one, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, I actually didn't like the environment at all. Because it didn't feel like a real place, because there was no people. It felt like this sterile sort of backdrop. And I didn't... And like it was cool. They had all these cool graphics and stuff, but it just didn't feel real enough, you know? Graphics were amazing, layout and design, all amazing, but it just didn't feel like a real place, and it felt very weird playing it, because you felt like you're in a simulation. It didn't feel like you were escaping reality. And I don't know, I just felt like I don't know if that's the right thing to be doing for this kind of game, but I feel like as an artist that's something I want to do. Like, not as a game developer per se, because game development's a broad thing, but as a creator, as someone trying to express something, it's important to me that it feels that way. And I think that's why I'm taking a liking to this approach, because I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that with the old approach. Like, with the obstacle course levels, like, yeah, it's fun. At least I think it is. People seem to think so. But I just couldn't... it didn't feel like I was escaping, you know? Like, it felt like I was... it didn't feel like anything. It felt fun to play with, but beyond that, aesthetically, it didn't feel like anything. It didn't feel like I was in the world of Project Feline. And I mean, of course it wouldn't. It's a prototype, right? But now I've been trying to picture the end vision and say, well, what is this going to look like? You know, like, what the hell is this thing? And... I don't know, like, yeah, back to the question that Mufaya had about whether I'll put NPCs. I think for this, if the levels are going to look like this, I think I would. But they're not going to be very smart. But I think just having them there is going to make the level feel like, oh, okay, like, this is a real place sort of thing. And I think little details like that really add up. And I think it makes for a better experience. It's like those little things that people don't notice, but they would if they weren't there, sort of thing. Anyway, yes, my brain is just... it's it's not the clearest. It's very fuzzy right now, but I hope that makes sense. I haven't quite. I've thought about it, but I've been thinking about it so much that I honestly can't like put it together as coherently as I'd like to. But that's sort of, I don't know. That's sort of what I'm thinking. It's something I'm still figuring out, like what a game is, because it's more than just the sum of its parts, and that's what I want to build so desperately. I want to build something has a cool set of parts, because you know that's important. It's got to be fun, and I've been so focused on that, and I think it's, like I said in my other video, I think it's caused me to neglect a lot of other areas. Like I haven't thought about art style until recently, and that's kind of not a good thing, because you should kind of know what your art style is. And other things like, you know, levels and stuff. Like I've been so worried about whether the game is fun that I've kind of forgotten about that there's more to the funness factor than just its gameplay. There's a bunch of other stuff that is also important that people are going to come back to the game for. Like for Journey, you know, Journey's mechanics aren't necessarily revolutionary. It's a very slow-paced game. You can only move and press circle, and that's it really. But aesthetically, it does so much to keep people entranced. You know, there's so many beautiful landscapes and visuals, and it feels like something. And I think I'm learning that there's more to just the mechanics that make something feel like anything. And that sounds like a weird sentence, but you know, it's like when you listen to a song. You know, you get taken somewhere, and you don't have to play the song. You just listen to it and experience it, and it does something. And I want to see where I can go. How far I can take that with Feline, because I haven't done anything that like to that nature yet, and I think I need to start thinking about it, because I think it's something I think I'm better attuned with than some other areas. Like I'm more in tune with those. I think just as an individual, those things are more important to me than it would be to most. So I don't know. I'm just still figuring it out. These are very random thoughts. But I thought I'd just share what's on my mind there with the whole topic. But yeah, NPCs, yeah, dude, I want to try that out for this map, not for the other ones. I don't think that would fit. But for this kind of map, I think it would fit. It wouldn't, gameplay-wise, it might not add anything. But if you have them if you program some very basic behaviors, like if you have them dodge out of the way when they see you or yell something at you, like if they see you and they go, ew, what is that sort of thing, because you're like a half cat person, or if they scream or if they whatever, like if they just react to you in some way, I think that tiny detail can add so much to the experience. It'll make you feel like, if you have everyone scared of you, it'll make you feel like a threat, and it kind of fulfills that power fantasy that a lot of games have. Like Doom, that's like entirely power fantasy, that game. You just want to feel like a marine and kill some demons, and that's the entire aesthetic, really. Gameplay, you know, is spot on, but ultimately, like I was watching this documentary about Doom, the no-clip one, and the whole thing was basically like, you know, they were trying to justify the whole demon thing, and this is a bit of a tangent, but I thought it was so interesting. They're trying to justify, like, why the hell are you on Mars and hell killing demons? Like, why? And they try to tell this whole story. Like, it took 7 years to make Doom 2016, by the way, for those who don't know. And in that 7 years, it was all just figuring out what the hell is, like, Doom. Like, what is it meant to be? And it literally, like, the director was like, well, you know, what if everyone just knows? Like, what if you know, we know, that you just want to kill demons, and you don't care, like, you just want to kill some demons, and then that's the entire, like, it's so self-aware, and I thought that was just amazing. Now, not to say that, I don't know yet how that relates to what I was talking about, but I think there's something about it that's similar in terms of the aesthetic, where it's like, there was more to Doom's mechanics that made it feel that way. They had, you know, the bits of text that said, demonic invasion in progress, the funny bits of dialogues scattered throughout, the way that people treat you as the Doom Marine, like the way they talk to you. And you know, when you get dug up at the beginning of the game in that excavation, they're all kind of praying to you like you're a god. And that's not anything to do with gameplay, but it's those small details that make you feel that it makes you want to play it, because it feels cool. So I think it's really cool. And I guess the point I was making there is that I think some scenario like that Mafoya suggested with the NPCs, if they react to you in some kind of way, I think that's going to add that kind of oomph to it, where it's like, I don't know what that feeling is yet, but if you want Gabby to feel like a threat or a force to be reckoned with, that would be one way to do it. you could have everyone react to her in a certain way. And I guess there was something that they brought up in the Doom documentary. In RoboCop, the original, I haven't seen RoboCop, by the way, but what they do describe, they have a bunch of pop culture references. But they say that in the beginning of RoboCop, you don't see the character at all. It's all from their POV. But you see everyone talking to you, and that's how you learn who the character is. And there's that guy, like, pointing at you saying, you're going to be one badass motherfucker. And that's, like, the entire... That was a thing they used in Doom. And they said, we want moments like that in Doom, where they look at you and say, you're like a badass. And just telling you that reinforces it. And again, I guess the point I'm making is that it's beyond gameplay. It's more than that. It's the entire experience that does that. So anyway, that was a massive, massive tangent there. But it's just stuff that's sort of been on my mind floating around. And it's just like, what does it all mean? So I've been trying to really hard to look at Project Feline in that light, you know, and looking at it through a different lens than just its mechanics. I think I've been pigeonholed. I think I mentioned in my video, I've been so tightly focused on mechanics so long that I've kind of lost touch with what else it could be, rather than the mechanics. Like, yes, it's got the mechanics there, but what could you do with them, right? You know, how could you make players feel things with these mechanics? How do you want them to feel? Because I think those things are neglected very often, especially in like those... if you want to go back to our previous topic we were talking about a while back with those asset flip shovelware games, like I think those games don't pay attention to that kind of thing. They just want to put together something that makes money, which, you know, whatever, that's their prerogative. But I think the reason why people don't enjoy it is because it's like those sorts of games that try to rip off other games, for example. Like, I can't think of any specific examples, but you know, like those Flappy Bird clones, there's been heaps of those, right? But they all... I mean, that's an easy game to copy. There might be maybe a more complicated game that gets copied a lot, I don't know. But they tend to miss those crucial things, like those aesthetic things. And I call them aesthetics as like emotional aesthetics, not visual aesthetics. But it's those things that are like, they miss those beats, and then it ends up feeling like a lackluster product because they haven't put the time and energy into, you know, it's kind of like in Halo, how they treat the Master Chief, right? Like they treat... It was interesting to me to hear about the success of that character being that they didn't talk about that character at all. And it was basically just how people interact with you. Whereas another game that might have a similar thing might miss that entirely. And mechanically it might be identical, but it misses those crucial beats in the tone and that make it feel very different, and maybe people don't like it as much. So anyway, yeah, I could talk about that for hours, but yeah, it's just something I thought was interesting. Mr. Voxen Arts asks, last question for tonight since I'm curious. Will Gabby have a voice actress? That's a great question. I was asked that recently, but I didn't give an answer because I honestly don't know yet. But I can say, like, people have auditioned for it. I have a few people in my contacts that I might reach out to if I decide to go that way. But there's another story that I want to tell that has to sort of do with that. I get a lot of like ideas and stuff suggestions like that, where it's like you should add voice acting, or you should like add I don't know, anything that sounds really cool. Like you can think of, I don't know, you guys probably have heaps of ideas that you want to add to this, and they're all very cool ideas. But as the creator, I always kind of get overwhelmed sometimes with just how much I could try doing. And I've been trying to figure out a better way to balance that out. And one thing I thought was interesting, I kind of looked at some of these things like voice acting, and I thought, well, what's the smallest amount of voice acting I could do that would still be cool, that would still be worthwhile, you know? And what I decided was, well, I haven't quite picked it yet, but I thought about something like, well, maybe like cutscenes is something. That's another example people have been coming at me with. And I wanted to do that too. And you know, when you start a project, you've got so many cool ideas and you just write them all down and you think you can do it all. But then as you keep doing the project, you realize how overscoped it gets. And I think this happens a lot, especially to beginners. And I've been doing game dev for a while, but this is my first like big commercial project. So I still have much to learn in that regard. But I'm starting to feel that sense of like, oh crap, am I promising too much for myself sort of thing? Am I overscoping? And that's something I've done before, and I'm trying to catch myself on it. But what I started doing instead of worrying about that was, I started thinking, well, what like cutscenes I think are cool. Voice acting I think is cool. But doing it to the level of a AAA company I think is unrealistic because I'm not a AAA company and I don't have any experience in voice acting or directing. I have a little bit, but I don't have it. I don't think I've got nearly as much as I should have for if I'm going to do it to the quality I want. I've actually voice acted before in a game. And it was really difficult actually. I spent like a whole 5 hours in the booth recording lines, and it's so difficult. It's so exhausting, and I love it though. But I'm not a voice, like I don't have the training for it, you know. But I still think it's cool, and I really want to do it, and I have that passion to want to try and make it real. But again, you know, there's limitations, and I think limitations are important. I think those are good to have. But I was thinking, like, how much, like, what's the amount I could do of this concept? Like, I don't want to have no voice acting or no cutscenes. I want to have them, but I have to sort of think. I've tried to think about, okay, well, like, if I have these, what's like the minimum viable version of that I could make? That would be a good starting point. And to me, that has been still being figured out, but I think it's going in the direction of like comic book style cutscenes maybe, where they're very static, but still tell a story. And it doesn't sound nearly as cool, I don't think, as what people might expect. But I think no cutscenes, I don't want to do that, because it's just like, I want to do something with it. And I think you can do a lot in those limitations. Like there was a game I played that had no dialogue in it, but told a great story. Or another game that had no soundtrack, but had a great atmosphere. And those kinds of subtractive constraints, I think, are really cool. And I want to try something like that. So I have a few ideas for people I might cast, but the voice acting, I think, is going to not be what people expect. I want it to be kind of like doing the bare minimum. Not in like a bad way, but in a realistic sense where I'm not going to get overwhelmed and burned out. And just say, well, how much voice acting could I put in that's still achievable? And for the moment, it seems to be just like grunt noises and maybe that kind of thing. And that to me is like, I guess this kind of goes into the intuition I was talking about before. It feels achievable instead of stressful, if that makes sense. Like I think about hitting up someone and saying, hey, can you record some grunts? It's like, okay, that sounds realistic. I feel like I could do that. But if people say, oh, like, are you going to have it with dialogue and is she going to have emotions and like, is it going to be like this cool sort of thing? Like, I like it, but it sounds very overwhelming for me and it stresses me out. And it's usually me thinking of these ideas. I'm not like blaming my audience because they come up with amazing ideas. But when I sit and think about it, it worries me and I get anxious and I'm like, oh my God, like I don't know how I'm going to do this. So I try to stick to ideas that I look at and go, oh yeah, I guess I could try that. Like that's like not of course, like what I would want if I had all the resources and time in the world, but it's something I could do. And that's sort of the criteria I'm trying to use now. And it's been helpful. So I guess that's a very long answer to that question, but I'm considering voice acting, but it's not going to be like, it's not going to be what I think people expect. It's going to be, I want to use the least amount possible that still tells something cool, if that makes sense. Like, what's the minimum amount I could put in that I could afford to do, and that would enhance the game. And I think no voice acting would be a shame, because I'd like to hear what she sounds like. I think it adds character. But again, like, how much is too much? I think having full scripted sequences might be too much for this game, because I don't think it needs to have that to do what I'm trying to do. I mean, yes, it could work, but it could deliver what I want through scripted dialogue and everything. But I think there might be a way that is less expensive and less time consuming to do that same thing. It's have it still be good. I guess that's sort of a summary, I suppose. That's sort of what I wanted to say. So yeah, it's something I'm looking into. Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what you guys think about that. I don't know if that made any sense. Again, I have like barely gotten any sleep, so I'm like the ramblings of a madman today. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, my brain's been changing so much lately. Like I've just been, the way I think has just been changing. So it's hard for me to really put this into words. But it's like I don't know. I feel like I'm getting more and more worried about things, but at the same time, I'm learning also how to cope with that worry at the same time. And that's by doing this new thing where I kind of just look at an idea of something cool and say, well, I actually have done that before, actually. Prototyping a game works the same way. and that's what's called a minimum viable product. And if anyone here watches Extra Credits, the YouTube channel, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'd say look up that video. MVP is the acronym. It stands for minimum viable product. And that's what this is, kind of, this game right now. It's a minimum... I guess the first prototype, I guess, is more accurate. Like, the very first build of this I put out was the minimum viable product. It's like, how much of this game can I make that's playable, that's like the bare minimum? And that's... I don't like using the word bare minimum, because it sounds like you're not putting effort in. But what it's there to do, it's there to sort of get you something, a product that exists, that's at least playable, I guess, in the context of a game prototype. Because that's better than a design document. You know, you want to have something that's playable. And I guess you could apply that to the voice acting idea with, well, let's just have some grunts. And that's technically voice acting. That's like the bare minimum. And then we'll put that in so at least we've got something instead of zero. And then decide from there, like, is this enough? Is this not? What needs to be there? Does it do the job? And I think that's sort of the approach I want to keep taking. I did it at the beginning of Project Feline, but I kind of lost my way a bit after I did the character. Everything kind of became a lot more perfectionistic after that point. Anyway, yeah, so that's just that's some stuff I've been like trying to keep in mind. And it excites me thinking about things that way, you know, because I'm looking and it just feels less stressful. It feels like, oh, okay, this is like actually accomplishable now. It's not some far out goal that I probably can't accomplish that sounds cool, you know, because I think it's easy to get carried away like that, especially if you're the only person working on the game. Because I don't have anyone to really keep me in check. I just kind of come up with stuff and then I learn the hard way whether it's good. So luckily, though, you guys give me some really valuable feedback. But there's so much that happens behind the scenes that I don't show. And, it really, like, I don't know, it kind of takes its toll, I would say. Question from R. Sandu. What's the average length of this game? Will also wall clinging be a move? I'm sorry if I paraphrased that wrong, like in Warframe or something. I think, yeah, I'm still figuring out exactly how long the game's going to be, because again, this is a completely new level. My previous levels are all very short, and I've actually made some changes to my level design, level select screen here. So these 4 down the bottom are very short. These are like 30 seconds each. The Skyport is about 2 minutes long, and Interchange is what I'm building now, and I want this to be maybe 2 to 3 minutes. And yeah, there's another thing. I didn't mention this, but one thing I want to do with this map as well, the reason why I want to take this approach of something more open that feels more like you're playing around in a diorama for a bit, is that I think you can increase playtime that way. And it's not that I'm trying to artificially increase playtime, but I would personally like to spend more time in these maps. In, like, you know, in Skyport, the map I did last time, I think, you know, it's cool, but, you know, you kind of race through it all. You can't really take it in. And something just felt wrong about not being able to absorb it, right? And I know it might sound weird for a game about speed, but I think you can still deliver that. And that's sort of, like I said, that's kind of how I experience the world. I have to absorb it, and I want to be around an area long enough to really get a vibe for it, you know. And this just felt like a big race course, which it could work. I don't know. I think people like it, but I was very curious to try another approach just while I was doing level design. And I feel like in this, you'd spend more time around these areas and get familiar with them, and you'd spend a bit longer in them. And maybe, I don't know, I feel like that could do something for its replayability and playtime. So I still don't know how long that's going to make the game. I want to say, don't quote me on this, but I want to say that the final game might be like an hour to 2 hours long to complete if you like just play through it non-stop. And it might not sound like a lot, but I don't think people realize how much time it takes to make a game that's like 20 hours long. Like, that takes, Jesus, like 20 hours is so long. Like, if you want to make like BioShock and have it be like 20 hours long, like, that's just like, for me, I can't do that. Like, I know I can't do that. It's unrealistic. I can't accomplish that. I'm not good enough to do that. So I want to say for Project Feline, maybe an hour to 2 hours if I'm lucky. Considering that my previous games were only, what, maybe 10 minutes? I think that's might be maybe even that's ambitious to try and make it an hour. But it's pushing myself, but it's still not, it's, you know, I've seen people, there was a game I saw, it was an indie game, and it said it was promising 14 hours of gameplay. And I'm like, oh, like, I don't know if you understand how long 14 hours of gameplay is. So I don't want to make, and that's why I'm not saying it's not going to be like that at all. I know that that's really difficult. So yeah, that's like 14 hours is like, that's like, Jesus, that's like watching a kid's film 14 times. Like, that's really long. So I don't know, maybe, yeah. For me, my goal is like, can someone sit for an hour and play this? And that's just my goal. Because people have sat for half an hour and played it in its current state. So I have a bit of optimism. But creating a AAA length game is not easy. It's very difficult. Even to make 5 hours of gameplay is an immense amount of work goes into that. And I don't think that's something I can do in my current position. Because I'm one person and I'm not a veteran. I'm just some guy in his bedroom just making games. So I don't want to over promise and over deliver and make something overly ambitious. I want it to be ambitious, but not overly ambitious, you know? Like, this is still more than anything I've done ever. And it's already like kind of overwhelming because I haven't made anything like this, but I don't want to like push myself too much because I think that's just not going to be it's going to be a bad idea to do that. You know, I gotta get my reference pictures back quickly. I gotta do this side of the building. So I've been a bit slow today. I'm just so many thoughts racing through my head. Haven't been focusing that much. That's why I wanted to hop on stream, hoping I'd actually get some work done. Because yeah, I've been trying to work the past few days, but I just haven't really been feeling that great. Should take a look at viewpoint idea I mentioned in. Oh, okay, you put something in my Discord. Let me check it. I'm just going to read Mufaya's message here in my Discord. Viewpoints where the character has to stand on a circle for a while in the environment to see the routes that they're able to go to. Perhaps. I feel like that might break the pace in like a... Because I did say I wanted pace breakers, but not... I don't think this is quite what I was picturing, but like, I feel like I'm getting a sense it's like Assassin's Creed, you know, where you have those vantage points. I feel like that's what you're suggesting. Correct me if I'm wrong here. But I would like to build a level in a way where you don't have to stop and look. You can just kind of move and look around, and the level's readable enough to be able to distinguish these paths. I kind of want you to stay on the move. So I don't know exactly what if I read that correct or not. So let me know. But yeah, I don't know, maybe. Like, I feel like I want to just design the level in a way that's kind of easy to lay out, and that's why I wanted to pick this area to base it off, because I think the real location's quite visually, it's quite interesting, and there's a lot of things that guide, that visually just line up. So that's sort of why I decided to base it off that. How about back sound game? Asks Marcel and Max. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Neloth has a question. If you make a blueprint project, can you also code in C++? I don't know, to be honest. I've never touched C++, so you might have to Google that one. Boops Skylar Muffin says, you could like a cinematic cam path at the start of the level. Yeah, I was thinking maybe something like that. Kind of like just a very quick like level fly through or something. Like just a shot of the level that kind of gives you a cool view of it before you start it. And then the countdown starts, and then you go. Just to kind of give you like a, you know, here's the level, like go have fun in it sort of thing. But I don't want it to be longer than like 2 seconds, because I think that at that point people are just going to want to mash skip and skip past it. So I want to make it good enough where it's like people want to look at it and they don't just want to skip it. Kind of like, I don't know, because there was something I watched about Halo where they had that same approach, where there was a guy whose job it was to just make the cutscenes, and he was constantly asking himself, what is going to stop the player from skipping this cutscene? And that was like his one job, is just to look at the cutscenes and go, okay, how do I make this interesting enough so that people don't just want to skip past it? So I want to try and like, I don't want to have things that people want to like skip through sort of thing. But yeah, something like a quick fly through cam, I think would be very cool. Leety Boy 97 asked, do you hope one day you'll work for a game company? Honestly, I mean, not really. I don't really like working with people. I kind of just, I don't know. I like to just do my own thing mainly. whatever that means. My dream is to just be able to make a living off doing YouTube and this, and making more games after Project Feline in this way by documenting it. And that's sort of all I want, because I like it. That's how I like doing things, and it seems that other people like it too. Like hell, you know, I've managed to. I think I'm like checked my YouTube channel stats recently. I think I'm over like 2 million total views now or something. So it's obviously, I guess it's not that people don't like my content. I don't think so. I feel like I'd like to keep doing that if I can. But yeah, no, a game I don't know. I just don't think I'd fit in really. I've never really fit in anywhere. Like that's kind of why I work alone all the time. I just don't know, I'm not really a people guy. And I feel like, I don't know, I haven't really met anyone that ever wanted to do something similar to what I was doing. Like I've met some people that were really great to work with. But I haven't really met someone that with my vision of wanting to build a game like this. In this way, in this, like for me, if I want to work on something, I kind of develop my own internal criteria for whether I should do it or not. And I've learned to trust it over the years, and it usually means working by myself, because that's just sort of how it needs to be. So I don't know. Maybe I'll start my own company if I can afford to. I should probably do that for tax reasons anyway. But yeah, no, I wouldn't keep it very big. I want it to be very small, like maybe 2 people max, like absolute maximum. And maybe, I don't know, maybe outsourcing if I can afford to, or if I need to. Because that's the weird thing, is that I can kind of do everything. And that's another reason I tend to just... Because I know a lot of people that can do things, but I haven't really met people that can do them as well as I could try doing them. Like, because I've been doing, like... I picked up Unity when I was 11, and I'm, like, going to be 22 soon. And everyone I've met from the real world have only just started doing game development like in the past year, and they just don't have that experience, and they can only do one thing like to an okay level, like to an intermediate sort of level, where it's like it's good, but it's like they don't have that bigger picture in mind. Like they never want to work on something that's like bigger than themselves sort of thing, if that makes sense. It's always like, oh, you know, for this project, for this assignment, I need to get this thing modeled, so yeah, let's just get it over with sort of thing. And that's like not how I roll. For me, it has to serve something else, and that's why I was so passionate. That's why I haven't quit Project Feline, because it's serving this vision of this idea I had when I was a kid, and I've always wanted to bring it to life. And I honestly would not want to be alive if I couldn't make it. So until I don't know, I guess until I get people together that I know and trust that have that same drive, I guess I'm just going to be sticking and doing things myself, because I can do it. So yeah, it's an interesting question. I don't get asked that a lot, to be honest. And I've tried to think about it, because I know it's not a healthy thing to work by yourself all the time, but I mean, yeah, like I can trust myself, so I like to just, yeah, I just work with people I trust, and I trust me. So even if I'm not always easy to work with as myself, because I overthink the hell out of everything, but that's a risk I'd rather take. Because yeah, I've had my fair share of team experiences that have been very unsavory. So yeah, in my head it's like, well, if I can do it, I'll just do it. If you want something done right, you do it yourself, right? So yeah. Mufaya says, you can instead make it so that the player looks at a direction while moving from a specific field, like Outlast. I haven't played Outlast 2, unfortunately. How events with the camera. Oh, I think I see what you mean. Like a camera will sort of frame something if you go to a specific area. Like it'll look at something and then go back. I think that's what he means. I'm not sure, but maybe. I want to I want to try and build a level in a way that's intuitive enough and visually distinctive enough that I don't need to take the camera away from the player. I just want it to, you know, they look at it and they just know where to go, sort of thing. I think that's sort of what constitutes a good level design, where it's like you don't get lost. It's like, oh, okay, I know where to go. But there's like, if you're attentive enough, if that's the word, then you find these other little secret bits. That's sort of the approach, I think. That's sort of how my brain thinks about it, at least. Do you plan on outsourcing the game at some point? I mean, maybe. It depends. Like, I've thought about it a lot because I still don't know exactly what needs to be done. I think if I'm gonna have voices, definitely, because I can't voice a female character, obviously, as a baritone. But apart from that, not really. It's just because for me, my rule is if I want to outsource anything or if I want to work with someone, I need to know them, because trust me, like, yeah, I was getting asked this a lot. I don't get this asked as much anymore, but I used to get asked heaps like 6 months ago. Everyone wanting to volunteer to the game and say, oh, I want to make models for Project Feline, and that's all very nice and cool, but like, I haven't met you. I have no idea what you're like to work with. I don't trust you, and why should I? Because I haven't met you before. And I don't think a lot of people understood that at the time, because again, it's not a public, like, yeah, I talk about my project a lot publicly, but it's not a public project. It's not like an open source public thing. It's my own little thing I'm just sharing with people. But but it's just my project, and I want to build it. Like, I didn't build it to give everyone else the work to do. I don't think that would be fair. Especially considering I can't afford to pay like a full-time staff or anything. I can't afford to pay myself to do this, so I didn't think it was going to be a good idea to outsource anybody. But I don't know, like, there's a few people I would trust to like outsource specific tasks to, like I don't know, like I'm trying to think of one. Maybe translation. There's like one person I know that might do a good job at that. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's difficult because my rule is I have to know them, but at the same time, mixing friends and business is also a horrible idea. It never works. So it's kind of a conundrum, and that's why I'm just doing as much as I can on my own, because I know that I can, like recently I just learned I learned some new skill recently. I think it was like using InDesign or something. I had to make an InDesign document, and I was sick of using Word because it just looks horrible. So I just taught myself how to use InDesign in 2 days and made it. And I thought, well, I mean, as long as I can keep doing that, maybe I can avoid having to outsource. Like, I've taught myself how to design levels. I've taught myself how to program. I've taught myself how to 3D model. I've taught myself how to animate. I've taught myself how to do everything that you're seeing here. So I kind of want to keep it, because it's simple if you're just the only person. You don't have to manage the staff. You don't have to manage... you don't have to do like super funds. You don't have to do contracts. It's a lot simpler, but it also means you have to do everything. But I don't know. It's kind of how I prefer to roll. But I mean, it depends on it really depends on how big the game gets. I don't know how big it's gonna get. If it gets bigger than I can manage, then yes, I'll of course like look to other sources of which to get that work. But it has to be with people that like really know how to outsource and be a what's not a client, not the client is, whoever the other person is. Because yeah, there's a lot of people that don't know what a contract is, and that's not very good. And they don't know how to write emails, which yeah, they might be able to model, but they don't know how to communicate, and that's important. And I think that's like the one fatal flaw that I've seen a lot of people have, is that they just don't know how to communicate with people, and that's a problem you eliminate if you don't have to communicate with anybody. So like, I try my best. I think I'm very concise. Like, I have to write and script videos a lot. I think I'm pretty solid when it comes to communication. But yeah, if there's people here that know me personally in the chat, you'll know what I mean when I say communication. Some people in here might know what I'm talking about through our old days being game dev students. But yeah, what does Mafia say? He says you can also make a gallery section where you unlock a collection of viewpoints, like achievements. I mean, maybe. I wanted to do unlockables for other things like music and outfits. I think that would have been a cool thing that I want to try with this style of level. And I don't know what viewpoints means specifically, because when people say viewpoints or viewports, I think of these windows. So I don't know. Maybe like photos? I don't know if that's what you mean. But perhaps. I think unlocking concept art, that might be cool, because you can actually draw nice concept art, you know. That's another thing I've also taught myself how to do over the years. I've made some concepts, but I didn't want to get any polished concepts yet, because again, like for the Skyport level, I was thinking, oh, should I spend another week drawing like a polished concept? But now that I've ditched it and I'm doing this, I'm glad I didn't. It's like, that would have been a complete waste of time, unless I've actually decided on yes, this will make it in the game, sort of thing. Because I thought, oh, well, it would have made it cool for the video, but at the end of the day, it's like, you don't want to waste time on stuff like that. That just looks pretty without... Anyway, that's a bit of a tangent. But yeah, I'd like to do some nice... I want to be able to do like an art book when the game is finished. I think that'd be cool. Maybe unlocking bits of that might be a fun little thing for people to do. I used to be kind of against the whole unlockable thing, and I think it's because people were suggesting to unlock the mechanics, and I wasn't really for that idea, because I just don't like the idea of, you know, saying, hey, the game doesn't want you to use this move yet, so good luck, sort of thing. I kind of wanted everyone to have the move set in full when they started the game. But unlocking other things like cosmetics and, you know, hidden behind the scenes stuff, I think is fine. I'm fine with doing that. I just didn't really like the whole idea that people... I think I was getting suggested this a lot of people saying, like, you should add, like, you have to unlock the wall ride. I'm like, the wall ride's, like, the core mechanic. That's, like, such a... Like, why would I stop people from using the core mechanic when they start the game? I don't know, I just didn't see what the sense... it just didn't make sense to me, so... Anyway. This... this is what I hate about this location, because everything's on an angle. Like some of these bits, and it's so hard to line these up, and I don't know if there's this clipping going on here and there's like a gap here. I don't know how to fill that. It's frustrating. Oh wait, no, I did it completely wrong. Hold up. I've been learning how to catch myself on this lately. I've been laying the shapes out wrong. Damn it, let me turn off my reference. I'm gonna quickly change my music because I've been listening to the same song on repeat for the past however long we've been going, and I need to change it because I'm getting bored of it. I'm gonna go to SoundCloud. I want to listen to something I don't own. There's this guy that I heard about recently I want to put on, and this, you won't hear this music because I have to put on copyright-free music on my streams, but I listen to my own tunes here. If you want to listen along, you can head over to SoundCloud and head over to Cavetown's page, and I'm gonna listen to his Sleepyhead album right now. I'm just gonna... which song? I don't like songs about teeth. I'm gonna pick this one, because I don't know, it has a cool picture. So I'm gonna listen to that for a bit. Any chat stuff? Oh, like, oh, we got a question that I missed. Or did I? Oh no, I think I'm caught up. Oh, sorry, the scroll wasn't working. Like, you know how it's meant to scroll automatically? It wasn't doing that for some reason. Okay, I think I'm up to date. Oh wait, no, I did miss a question. Twitchy Necro, I don't know if you're still here. I missed your question. You asked, what character did I voice and in what series? Well, it wasn't for a series, it was for one game. And it was for the one I showed earlier. There's a student project called Brielle, and it was meant to be an experimental indie game about anxiety, which is like the vaguest game idea I've ever come up with. I developed it mostly solo. I had a bit of help on environments and voice acting, and I voiced one of the characters. And there's a reason, and you can't download the game because the voice acting is horrible, so I've taken it down forever. But I left screenshots of the game up just so that people, you know, I'm not making it up, you know? Like, yes, I made it. It's a real game. It exists. I'm not just making it up, sort of thing. It's good to have there for work experience, but no, it's such a bad game. It was horrible. It was like one of my first games, so I mean, of course it's going to be bad. There was like no gameplay. It's very much one of those artsy sort of serious games, and that's when I used to think that's what I wanted to do, and then I realized it's definitely not. You know, like those ones like those games that try to tackle some serious problem like depression or whatever. That's sort of what I thought I wanted to make, and then I realized that it's like I was like, oh Jesus, this is not fun. Like, I have no idea what I want to make, and then I like fell into creative burnout for a couple of years, and then I thought, hey, I'll just make that game I wanted to make when I was like 11, and then here I am. So I mean, if you guys want to look it up, I'll type a link to it here in the chat. You can't play it, but you can see it. It's on Itch, I think. Raymond Cripps at .itch.io/real. So that's the link to it. Rexus Lagos asks, did you make those blueprint textures yourself? No, these are from an asset pack called Supergrid Starter Pack. and I highly recommend it. It's a great blocking tool. It's all like lined up perfectly to Unreal's metric grid, so highly recommend. Great for blocking. And another question from RZ Games 12: How do references work in UE4? I'm not quite sure what you mean. What kind of references? There's a lot of types of references. So if you mean like there's images that I have layered through the like these ones that I've got, like these pictures of Google Maps that I've put in. These are literally, yeah, these are just screenshots I've taken. And I've just put a transparent material on them and put them in the world. I don't know if that's how you're meant to put references in, but it works, so I put them in. So these are all just transparent planes, all with a material on them that just show me bits of the map. And that's it, really. They're just planes, one polygon. Oh, sorry, 2 polygons, sorry, because they're made of triangles. But yeah, that's it, really. This red square, though, I put this in on purpose. You can't, they're hidden in game, but these are actually metric. This is like 1 meter, and that's because I made these in Photoshop, and I wanted to get a sense of scale, and I wanted to build it to the right scale. So I put a little, in Google Maps it shows you, so I like measured it and made one little box equivalent to the size of the screenshot I took of Google Maps that was going to be a meter, and then I scaled the image in here up large enough until this was actually the size of a meter, and then there we go. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, I mean, some of these are from, that's the thing, not all of these are from Google Maps. Some of them are, some of them aren't. And it made me realize how frustratingly inaccurate maps are in general, because I don't know which is the real one. I have like 5 different pictures of this location, and they all have slightly different proportions, and it's really aggravating. Like, it pisses me off so much. But I've got this one that you can kind of see, and this is from a shop that's in this area as their floor plan. Actually, no, this one's from the architectural firm that built it, from their website. And then this one is from a mobile repair shop that has a map for some reason. And as you can see, these are similar, but they're slightly different, and it's really annoying. And then there's the Google Maps one, and there's 2. There's the ground floor and the upper floor. But even these change, and it's kind of, they're not like 1-to-1, because one of them's a bit high. I've put them higher up than the other, so it's a bit of parallax there. But these ones are pretty similar, and those are great, but you can't get all the details. And then I found these other maps from the website of the venue, and these were the most inaccurate, and I thought these would have been the most accurate ones because they're from the website. But these ones are absolute garbage, but they have the most detail. So it's really frustrating. I spent like 2 whole days trying to line these up in Photoshop perfectly to be in proportion, but I couldn't do it. So I tried my best. Like, this escalator doesn't actually exist in the real location, so I don't know why they've drawn an escalator there, because that actually isn't there in the physical place. These ones are. That one is. This one isn't. And then even with these ones, they put them in the slightly wrong. They haven't put them in the right places. Even this one, this is not the wrong angle. And then all of these aren't in proportion, and it's just so aggravating. But I've had to do my best with it. So yeah, don't trust Google Maps. Don't trust maps in general. They're actually very inaccurate. I've looked, yeah, I have like 5 different sources of the same location, and they're all different. So, yay. Will you publish the game on the Epic Store? I got no idea. If you want to like know more about what my plans are, I recommend checking the FAQ page. I have a few questions. Answers to questions like that. You can check it in the card down below, or visit this link. I think that's the link. Yeah, because people have asked me about consoles, stores, Steam, that sort of thing, and I have a better answer there. But in short, I don't know. That's like the best I can give. I don't know. I haven't researched the licensing terms of Epic or Steam or PlayStation or Sony or Microsoft. Like, I just haven't had the time to research it. Because I think I should really look into it properly and look at everything before I decide it. You know, you got to be careful. Ever thought about doing photography certain places? Well, yeah, that's actually what I've done. All of these are photos. I took these like last week. I went down to the location and took all these photos, just to get an idea of certain details. But I want to go back and do another trip because I want to get more photos, because some of these aren't good enough. Like, I don't have all of the details. Because I've missed, like, this area up here, I've kind of missed a bit from the inside. And then this up here I need more photos of. So yeah, I have taken photos. I had a question here that I thought I missed. IRL live stream. I was actually thinking of doing like like in my devlog, like I filmed a bit of footage there of me recording, but I don't know if it was good enough to put in. It was really noisy because there was a train like coming in, and the audio is probably crap. So I don't know. I might include that. But it's just, yeah, I'm kind of abrasive to sharing too much because I don't want people to use that to kind of stalk me in real life. So, because there's a lot of weird people out there. So I'd rather not film myself in public because I don't want people coming up to me being like, hey, you're that guy while I'm trying to eat my lunch or something. I don't know, because I'm very shy. I don't know if you guys noticed. It might not seem that way because I talk a lot, but I'm actually like, I'm not a people person. So yeah, I prefer like just blending in the crowd and people not noticing me. Like even taking photos felt very embarrassing when I was up there. I was like, shit, I hope no one notices that I'm taking photos of like the environment and stuff. I hope no one thinks I'm weird. So yeah, outside is not my strong suit. There was another question I saw here. Can you make a video for game optimization? I mean, I'm not really a tutorial channel. I just talk about what I'm doing. There's probably other channels you can look at for that sort of thing. You know, I used to be a teacher, but I left that job. I'm not a teacher anymore. I'm just a guy making his game. I'm not a brackies or anything. I think I'd like to finish my game before I start making, if I ever decide to make tutorials. I think I'd be in a better position to make said tutorials if I had actually finished a game. So yeah, I probably wouldn't come to me for that sort of thing. See, even this, I think there's a restaurant that's here in the real one, but I can't remember what goes below it. Because according to this map layout, there's a thing, but except I don't remember that being there because all these maps are all drawn wrong. So I don't know. Difficult stuff. Oh, where's my reference? Gotta get it back. So according to, okay, so that's not meant to come out this far. All right, interesting. Also, yeah, I've added lens flares. Very important update. I've figured out how to turn on lens flares in Unreal now. And for those who know me, you'll know that I have a real thing for lens flares. I love my lens flares. They're the best. They used to call me Ray Abrams. I used to put, like, that was my shtick when I was like a student. I would have made like the worst game, but I would have put heaps of lens flares on it and people would be like, wow, the graphics, man, they look so good. Like, yeah, because I just chuck a lot of bloom on it. So I'm glad to say that I'm bringing the lens flares back for Project Feline. And there's volumetric rays are there too, because like, why not? I'm gonna have those. So yeah. Just looking at, okay, I didn't miss any questions. I thought I'd missed one. Alright, so I need to, actually, how much time do I have left? I have like half hour left, I think. So hopefully I can get something finished. I have so much of this that I need to build still, that I should probably do it on stream. That'd be fun. Because there's this whole side I need to build as well. So hopefully it won't take too long. I have some stuff that I have to do next week, so I might not be able to spend every day on it, but I'd like to be able to try and finish it by next Friday. Just because I want to get it out and tested, just so I know that this is actually a good idea or not. Because you don't know, you never know until it's in people's hands, really. Alright. This is... I guess I'll block that off probably if I can. Except, hold on. Wait a sec. Why did they make this so difficult? Okay, so I don't know where the buildings are meant to come up to on this side. There's like elevators there, except I don't... Actually, you know, yeah, there is an elevator there in the real one. Except this is like so poorly drawn. I don't know where the walkway starts and ends. Unless... Oh, actually, that might be all wrong. Actually, that might... Do I have any pictures of that bit? Did I get a picture of that? Damn it, I don't think I did. I don't think the walkway goes up to that bit on that part of the floor, actually. I think it stops because there's a shop above it, so maybe that's why. I didn't get any pictures of that floor, damn it. Oh well, I'll figure it out. So I think what happens is that there's a wall that, oh, I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen, you guys can't see. But like through here, there's like a wall, it stops. And that would explain why this escalator isn't on top of this one like the others. Because this would be blocked off by something. So I think I'll do that. So I'll get rid of these. And I'll get... I should get rid of some of these too. I think, is this the final? Yeah, okay, this is the last floor. Ah, yeah, okay, now I remember. So this is where there's like a restaurant here. I remember. I was confused. I thought it was on the I thought it was on the 3rd floor. This is the 4th floor. So I can get rid of this gap. So let me remember. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not right. This gap needs to be like shorter, but I don't know what the rule is to, because you don't want to hit your head. That's very bad. Oh wait, no, I'm an idiot. Sorry. Am I doing? Is that the right floor? Crap! I'm like so confused. Hold on. Let me get my pictures. So. Okay, wait a minute. So there's this, 2, 3. Okay, so this is the 3rd floor after all. All right. So then, but I don't have an image for the. Oh my god, it's so confusing. Wait. Maybe that staircase is meant to go under here. Maybe that's what I got wrong. Hold on, I gotta remember what this was supposed to be. Okay, this isn't a floor. I don't need a staircase here. I forgot that this black one, this is meant to represent the staircase from underneath. Okay, so I shouldn't have put a staircase there. Okay, yeah, so I was gonna build an extra level by mistake. That's what was going on. I was so confused. All right, so that's where the okay, so this area. Okay, this is now making sense. That's this bit, and there's no other escalators above. So this is what this is. Okay, making sense now. All right, it's a bit less confusing. So that means I take this out. Oh no, wait, I take this out, and then put the other staircase in. Sorry, yeah, I'm just, I haven't built a location like this before, so it's a bit disorienting. It feels weird too, because it feels familiar, but it feels like I'm in the location, but I'm not. It's you know, because it's a real place. But it's weird, like when you build it and then you run around as Gabby and then go there in the real world. It's just it's a strange feeling. Oh, Twitchy Necro. Oh my god, thanks so much for the $25. Stay alive, Raymond. I'll do my best. It's gonna be a lot easier thanks to your generousness, kindness. Thank you, kind sir. That should be my notification noise, shouldn't it? I should really get like the Oblivion Guard, being like, "Thank you, kind sir. Blessings of Akatosh upon ye." Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Yeah. It is a weird feeling. It's like making it from a real location. It's just I haven't experienced it before. I've always tried to build stuff like that wasn't based off anything, and it was difficult. But now this is fun. Because I remember I started building it. I had another version of this that I was building, and it was completely out of proportion. And then I went to the location to take photos, and I was like, wow, it feels like I was just here, sort of thing. It's funny. Excuse me. Damn it. Oh, excuse me. I got hiccups for some reason. Just really annoying. Why is this like... Why is there a gap here? It's so annoying. Can I just bring that over? There we go. There we go. Fixed. All patched up. Alright, so... Where... Oh, Jesus. Did I... Okay, there we go. I thought I deleted that staircase for a sec. Alright, so... Okay, this feels more natural. Yeah, so... From memory, I can attest that this is what it... Okay, there's the two escalators that go like this. You just go straight up. And then this is like where, behind you... actually, I gotta fix that massive gap. That's a problem. But there's a restaurant here. There's a patisserie here. And then there's a bridge here that goes into a dining area. And then there's like a cool lookout here where you can see the train tracks. So I need to modify this a bit. But yeah. So I just gotta fix this massive gap, because I don't know... Building a gap for these sorts of staircases is actually very challenging, because you have to like... I'm sure there's a rule for architecture on like how wide the gap should be, but I'm not an architect, so I have no idea. I'm in the dark. So... okay, so I think I could get rid of some of these. Let's play it. Yeah, I don't know how big. I don't know if that's like... Okay, I think... Yeah, because I had a photo from what was it? I had a photo facing this way, but not one facing this way. So I don't know how big this gap here is supposed to be, but I think that looks fine. So there's something else that's wrong here though, and that's that this needs to be longer. Oh, what did I just do? Did I lose it? Oh, there we go. Alright. And then that comes there to cover this. So this is going to be like a guardrail that you could maybe grind on or something. Yeah, this looks more familiar. I remember being in like that layout. Alright. Let's move that up over here. Yeah, Tim could... Yeah. I'm looking forward to see how you navigate this level. You probably are the only person here that could play it with your eyes closed. You probably know where I'm basing this off. But I'd be curious, because yeah, I don't know if this is a good idea. I just want to see what people think. This is going to be a crap level. I have no way of knowing. But I'm curious. I think... Yeah, I'm so curious because this just feels... To me at least, I feel like I could easily picture a game with these levels rather than the other type. I can imagine it. I can't imagine the other one. It's harder to imagine. So yeah, it's like very curious to see if it's not just me being crazy and if it's actually a good idea. I need another railing guardrail that goes across this way. Oh damn it, it's sticking out. It doesn't need, I don't want that sticking out. Here. Wait a moment. That needs to be... Ah! Now it's sticking out the other way, damn it. Okay, so that goes here, I think. And then that is coming out too much, I think. Or not. Yeah, that can go here. Actually, that doesn't make sense. That's stupid. There we go. There we go. Sweet. This is looking better. And then this I could take over here, and I'll just chuck one of these here. What was that? Did I rotate that right? Okay, yeah. Oh, check out that lens flare. Ooh, freaking love these things. Amazing. Wait, should I bother? I don't know if I should bother putting one there. This doesn't line up properly. Oh, screw it. I'll just leave it there. Doesn't matter. Stops you from going underneath the escalator. Actually, I don't know if the real one has a railing there, actually. I don't know. I'll leave it there anyway. Sir Whatnot says non-linear levels would also be easier to reuse. Yeah, I think it would be too. And I just feel like making objectives in these levels is easier than just get to the end. Like, I don't know how... maybe that's why I found it difficult to imagine. Because I couldn't imagine like 7 whole levels of like an hour of gameplay of just get to the end. Like, I don't know. I mean, I've seen games do it, but they always embellish it with more things that make it interesting, like cutscenes and stuff. And I was like, I don't know if that's viable. I just didn't... I don't know. That's the thing that made me so anxious, is that I didn't know why I didn't feel like it would work as well, which is what also is the red flag for me. Is that it's like, not only can I not picture this clearly, but I don't know why I can't picture this clearly. And that's like that's unknown territory there. That's chaos. So in my head, it's like, well, this idea is something I can picture, so maybe I should try that, because I can actually imagine a whole game of these sort of hub world areas. And that's something people have been suggesting anyway, and it's like, well, I mean, if people are suggesting it, and if I am now coming to my own conclusion as to whether it is viable, then maybe I should try it. I don't know, yes, it's a weird, it's very much it's like a gut feeling. It's like very much intuition and not analysis, which I guess that's a weird thing. You kind of have to juggle between the two sometimes. I like to be very analytical, but at the same time, I've learned to try and trust my gut, because there have been times where I've been too analytical, and it's been to the point where it like undermines the game. And it just hasn't worked. Where then, you know, in contrast, there'd be times where it's like, oh, screw it, I'll just do what I feel like, and then it actually works out. So it's like, I guess it might be one of those times, you know? I'm trying to figure out when the right time is to listen to the gut and when it isn't. It's something I'm still figuring out, but I think this is one of those times where it's like, screw it, just give it a shot and like see what happens. What's the worst that can happen, right? You might lose 2 weeks, but it's, you know, it's not 50 years, so it's like you might as well give it a shot. It might drastically change the direction of the rest of the game, you know. You might as well figure that out now before finishing the other level and like doing all this work and then only scrapping that level later, sort of thing. So that's sort of what I was having in mind. Yeah, I mean, I haven't played Super Mario Sunshine. I've played Galaxy and I've played a bit of Odyssey, but I'm sort of picturing kind of like more like Jet Set Radio. I haven't played Jet Set Radio Future, but I've ordered it's so rare. It's so hard to find a copy of that game because it's only on Xbox, the original Xbox, and they're only on hard copies. You can't download it. And I found a copy of that. I'm getting it shipped via eBay in the next couple weeks. But the original Jet Set Radio is on Steam, and I was playing a bit of that. And I liked what they did with their storytelling. I haven't finished it yet, but the storytelling style I like, and the environments I like, and those are also based on real locations. And I didn't realize that until after I started building this. I actually looked up the documentary, and I was like, how did they build it? And it's like, oh, they're also doing what I'm doing, so maybe that's not a bad idea after all. So anyway, yeah, but I like what they did in that game, where you get to be in there for a while and actually absorb the vibe of the world. And I think that's important for me, because I want Project Feline to feel not just like a parkour game or a sandbox, but as an experience. I want it to be an escape. I want it to be something they've had like a crap day and they're like, screw it, I don't want to be in this planet right now. I want to go to the Project Feline world for a bit and just, you know, collect some stuff and run away from some police officers or whatever. Because that's sort of some ideas I've been having, where it's like, in this station, you know, like that's why I think I said this earlier, but that's why I was so interested in this idea, because I could actually picture a scenario, whereas the other one I couldn't. I just couldn't imagine, like, what scenario would Gabby have to be rushing through a construction site? I don't know, like, I just couldn't picture one. It was so hard. But with this one, it came so easily. I was like, all right, well, she's got to catch a train and she doesn't have the funds, so she's going to go and collect some money in the, like, collect coins or credits or whatever, and then she can catch the train. But she has a time limit. The cops are gonna like chase after her because she looks like a lab experiment. So that would make sense. You know, if you saw a random, like, you know, mutant like cat girl out, yeah, you'd call the police because it's weird. So I was like, yeah, that makes sense, and it just kind of came together. And the fact that it just came to me so easily was like, well, it's like the path. There's a saying, the path of least resistance. And I was getting a lot of resistance with the other path, with trying to create these Sonic the Hedgehog style levels. Because even Sonic don't know how to make a Sonic the Hedgehog level, to be honest. I mean, let's be real. Like, Sonic Team has struggled with that. And it's like, if Sonic Team are struggling with that, what makes me think I could do a better job? I'm not Sonic Team. I haven't been in the industry for 20 years. Like, Jesus, this is like kind of unrealistic of a goal to set. And I was worried about that before I started, but then I tried it and it kind of worked, but it's still, I couldn't picture a cohesive vision from it, and I didn't know why, and that just, it made me very anxious. But this made me a lot more relaxed, because I could just picture, yeah, of course, you know, she's running from the cops and needs to catch a train to escape, and maybe the whole game is she's on the run, like that's the entire thing. And building a story about just her running away, kind of like an X-Men, no, not X-Men, Logan. The Logan film, where there's what's her name? Laura, and she's on the run from that corporation. What's the name? I can't remember. The one that does the genetic stuff that were in Mexico, and they were like saying that they were doing cancer research, but they were really making mutants out of children. And then the whole story is basically Laura running away, and then she runs into Logan and Professor X, and they're just on the run from that guy with the robot hand. And that's kind of like the whole story, basically. And it's simple. It's just like, but it's got some personal themes in there too, which I thought was really cool. And that's something you only really get if you like are familiar with the characters. But just the whole concept, like it's something I can work with, right? Because I didn't have any ideas before. I didn't know what kind of direction the story could take, but that's a direction, and it's like, well, that's something that can work. Let's try it. So yeah, I don't know. It just felt like, yeah, that's like, try it. It just felt like something cool. But anyway. Oh yeah, Mufaya, stay safe, bro. Thanks so much for modding the stream for me, dude. Appreciate it so much. I know it's like not time zone in my area is so not helpful for you, but I appreciate the effort, dude. To get some rest now. I think we'll be finishing up soon anyway, probably, because I'm starting to get a bit distracted. I want to try and see if I can get this top floor kind of sorted, and then call it a day. Just reading some chat questions, sorry. If my brain is like operating at... Wait, what's my task manager at? I'm actually curious on what my CPU is running at right now. Okay, well my brain CPU is at 90% because I'm just I'm just like so not productive at the moment. But that's interesting. 70%. Okay, it's going up. Anyway, there was a question here I saw. Oh, Turning Gears X made the stream. Hell yeah, dude. Glad you can make it. I was like, the Sir FM says, I was like 3 months working on my project from scratch, knowing nothing until now, and that I know relatively. When I wanted to steal multiplayer from my... Oh wait, sorry, I read that wrong. And when I wanted to steal multiplayer from my game, those beautiful 3 months of work went to waste. Okay, I'm not quite sure what the story is there. I think I might have read that wrong. I feel like what you're saying is that you wanted to make a game and then you decided it was going to be multiplayer and scrapped 3 months of work, which happens all the time. But yeah, it's sad. It makes you cry every time. Okay, all right, hold on. There's buildings that are meant to go here. I was like trying to figure out what was meant to go in this bit. Now I know. Okay, so I'll bring this up. But yeah, I once spent some game I was doing. Yeah, it was gonna be even Project Feline. It was gonna be a shooter. It was gonna be a third-person shooter, and now it's like totally not. And that I spent like a whole month building a weapon system that I've completely chucked in the bin. So yeah, I know the feeling. I think I still have the code somewhere, but I'm not gonna use it. No, I did use it actually. I used it for my turrets, but I haven't really used those because those enemies kind of suck. Like I put them in and everyone hates them, so I might take them out. But yeah. So it might go in the bin after all. Something's wrong here though. I don't know why this Ah, there we go. Yeah, this isn't meant to be... Why is this, like, shorter? I don't get it. There's, like, a huge gap here. That's not good. Very bad. I need to fix that. Maybe I should just patch it with this. There we go. Or, I think I could use the building's base as a roof if I just extend this down a bit, actually. Yeah, there we go. That covers that gap. Oh, do I have any coffee left? Oh, I have a bit. And that's all my coffee gone now. Aussie Games 12 has asked, maybe you reuse the shooting code for a different project? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what I'll be doing next. I haven't really thought about it. It might be years before I do another project, depending on how this goes. It's already been 2 years with Project Feline, so I was optimistic. I want to spend maybe another year on this, but I get the feeling it's going to be another 2, just judging from how things are going. Thanks, JV the Wanderer, for following. Appreciate it. But yeah, it's... Project Feline will have local... Hold on, what? I did say it would have local multiplayer. Or is this a quote? Is this a meme from something that I don't get? Project Feline will have local multiplayer. Let's find out after these commercial shorts. Oh, okay, that's like a quote. I was like, wait, I don't remember saying I'd have local multiplayer. It's always funny, like, because in my Discord people ask questions, but then there's some people who think that they try to talk on my behalf without researching it, and they'll say like, oh yeah, Project Feline's coming to Steam, and I'm like, I've never said it was coming to Steam, what are you talking about? So that's always kind of irritating, that, but yeah, I try to be very careful with what I say about the game for that kind of reason. Because I think if I just mention the word Steam Workshop, everyone now thinks, oh yes, it's coming to Steam Workshop, and it's like, no, I'm just mentioning that it might, or I've considered it, or people have suggested it. But yeah, it seems like, I don't know, it's public. It's sort of like, yeah, you like say something, and then if enough people share it, it turns into a different story. Like, there was some rumor I was hearing about my game. Someone was saying that like it was gonna be like I don't know, it was gonna be some genre that they were gonna put in or something. It was gonna be of a certain genre that I never mentioned before, and I was like, no. I don't know, it was like an open, no, not open world, it was something else. And I was like, no, I never said that. So yeah, but it's just kind of amusing when I see that happen in my Discord, at least, because they'll ask like, oh, how much is Ray releasing the game for free or something? And someone will say, yeah, he's releasing it for $20. And I'm like, I never said that. I didn't say what price I was releasing it for. I just said it'd be paid. So it's always funny. It's like saying Sakurai from Smash Bros. Is playing a game and people immediately think a character from that game is coming. Yeah, exactly. It's like that. It's like when people said that Seth Everman was going to be in Smash Bros. And it's like, no, he just likes Smash Bros. He plays Smash Bros, but he's not in Smash Bros. But yeah, it's peculiar. Okay, I'm getting distracted now. I need to figure out where this building needs to go. Gotta get my reference pictures back. Alright, now it's super pixelated, so it's kind of hard for me to tell what the hell's going on. But I think this needs to come further. And this is gonna clip, and I don't want that. So maybe I might bring this up higher. And then, oh yeah, I just want to cover that gap without it clipping, because there's this massive area here that's just, yeah, let me, oh, can I close that without having to, there we go. Anyway, so now this is like, yeah, okay, I think I remember what this is supposed to be now. Except there's a gap in this building somewhere, but I can't remember where. It's around here somewhere. It's like near the middle here. There's like a gap where an elevator shaft is. But I think, actually maybe I was wrong. No, maybe it isn't there. Okay, well I guess that's not on the schematic, so I guess that's fine. It's just a matter of, okay, I can bring that. Oh, sweet, I can just like bring that all the way over. There we go. What you'll notice is that the schematics are slightly angled, and that's because the real venue, I've aligned all of these to face north, but the actual venue doesn't face north exactly. It's like a few degrees off, so it might look a bit not exact. I really hate that. I hate how people like build something and it's like slightly off. It's like, oh, it's irritating. Especially in my area, the roads are so poorly designed where I live. They're all like spaghetti. If you thought spaghetti code was a problem, spaghetti roads are even worse because you could die on those. It's not fun. Okay, I think this is meant to be the final floor. This is level 4. I think. Yeah, okay. Alright, so I want to just touch up one thing and then I think I might call it. I think I just got to block off that area. So I'll do that. And this here is it's meant to be a restaurant. It's some like Chinese restaurant here, I think. I haven't been to that one. There's one that's over the other side that I've been to, but I haven't been to the one on this side. And I was looking at, there was a cool picture of one of the restaurants that I thought was cool, that I wanted to try and, it gave me an idea of the kind of how I might model a shop if I was to put one in. If I can find the picture. I don't know where I put it. Well, there was a coffee shop that had these cool barrels, and I like these. These are really cool. And that wolf logo was really cool. I thought, well, what if I made a cat logo like that? That might be cool for the game. And there was something else. I don't know if I can quickly find it. But what I'm about to build, I'll show you like one of these. So on this level I'm building now, right about here, I think. Where's the escalator? So right about here where this is, that's like what that looks like. So I'm gonna build a bridge there, probably next stream or something. And then build this, all of this in here is restaurants, and this is like a really cool place to eat. Now there was a picture I was gonna show. Yeah, here it is. This is like one of the restaurants, and I thought it looked really cool. It's like a tiny little, it's like a building, but it's like a tiny little front of a building, and it looks so cool. And I was like, damn, that'd be fun to model. So maybe having like a bunch of restaurants designs like that, just with like a flat sort of storefront along the sides of these might be cool for like a final design. But yeah, some more ideas though. But yeah, so now that area is this here, except I gotta change it out. I gotta something that looks off. It needs to be taller. That's it. So I'll bring the roof up later, maybe. I just want to finish that other side. Alright, my stream time has gone off. So yeah, I'll just quickly finish that and then we'll call it. Yeah, all of the roads in Aussie lands are spaghetti, except Melbourne. Melbourne's actually not bad. Melbourne, you can it actually makes sense, and they're actually lined straight, and it's like, oh my god, you can actually walk down the street and actually know where you are. It's like insane. So yeah, big respect for Melbourne for designing their roads correctly. Did I miss a question? No. Did you know that models overlap each? Oh, sorry, I like butchered that message. Did you know that models overlap each other? Yeah, I'm aware that happens. Happens all the time. What you're working on now? Well, I'm about to finish working on this little level design. I'll do a quick playthrough of it. I mean, there's no real beginning and end yet, but I'll do a quick playthrough of it in a few minutes once I just get this block in. But I'm basically building this real location that I think is pretty neat. I really like this place. This actually, I see if I can line up that shot that I've got with that photo. Oh, can I go up? So that's like kind of similar. So that's sort of how it looks like in real life, and that's sort of how it looks like in Project Feline at the moment. And yeah, this sort of be a cool idea to try and build a level like that. But yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier, actually, these little shops. Like these, I reckon you could model just the front of that, and then just like make a template storefront model, and then just put different like branding and different logos on it and different colors, and then there's like an easily modular storefront, and you just make the inside like a texture because no one's going to go in there. So I think, yeah, that would be fun to work on, I think, once I get to the modeling bit. I want to put in these trees too. Those are actually kind of, I like having the trees there. But yeah, up there you can sort of see that bridge. Oh, way up there, and that's that top level up there. And then this big thing here is the trains, and I think that's like the end of the level, is you gotta get on the train platform. And I think it'd be cool to have that movement and noise too, because it gives it an atmosphere. And I don't know what it is, but I really like train stations for some reason. Like there was a project I was working on before this, and I scrapped it after a few weeks, but it was all based on trains. And the entire game concept was that you had to catch a train, but you had you suffered from severe anxiety. And every time you doubted you had the only mechanic was controlling what your player thought. And it was a really abstract idea, and that's why it didn't work. But the idea was you'd have text that would pop up that would give you thoughts that you could interact with. And if you kept clicking on thoughts that made you doubt yourself, getting to your location would be harder and everything would get all foggy and stuff. It was I don't know, the idea was interesting, but I tried prototyping it and it just didn't work. It was really bad. So I don't know what it is about. I just like train stations. So I thought maybe it'd be a cool idea to build something based off a location I like and it might be more relatable too. Because who the hell can relate to a floating skyport with shipping crates everywhere? It doesn't feel like I mean, I thought it was a cool idea, but I want to try something that's a bit more everyday that people might be able to relate to better. I think it just might make for a better experience. So I don't know. I'm trying it. I don't know if I need to block off the rest of that actually. Actually, yeah. You know what I'll do? I'll just scale these up because no one's going to see that anyway. This is all an interior here, so I can just do that. Oh, excuse me. I should eat. I should really eat soon. Alright, let me see if I can just scale that up. Yeah, there we go. Now I need to put some more supports in, I think, but I'll get to that later. And I need to get rid of this gap because there's no escalators above this point. So I can just scale that. Except I accidentally deleted something. Oops. There we go. Yeah. Let's just scale it across. Now I think this all needs to be a bit higher, so maybe I'll quickly do that. How much higher? I don't know. We'll have to check my reference. I want to say that maybe 6 meters? 5 meters? Maybe 5 meters. Let's try 5 meters. It looks like 5 meters. It's not like I went around with a tape measure after all. Maybe I should next time. Just bring a massive tape measure around and measure everything. Get a bunch of weird looks from people. And they'll be like, don't worry guys, it's research. So that should be taller. Alright, how does that, I mean that feels better. Yeah, that feels about right. I just gotta bring these up. Actually, do those exist? Yeah, okay, they have those. They're just different colored up there. I'll just bring all those up. And then yeah, then we'll play through it and I'll show you guys how this area plays out. I should bring these all up a bit higher. I want that to reach the edge. And there we go. Yeah. There we go. So, I mean, this is all still empty, of course, and there's a whole bit down here that I want to do, and a bit down here, but maybe I'll do that next week. I actually got more done than I thought I would, so that's that's good. It's been so hard. I don't know. Just haven't had a great few weeks. I've just been so hard to focus. But I'm feeling better now. So let me save that. I haven't saved this whole time. Let me pause my music so I can talk. All right. So, oh wait, did I miss a message? Have you started the story yet? No, not quite. But I'm getting ideas now with this level. I'm getting some concepts. I'm getting ideas coming in of little scenarios that I could build the game around. And I'll explain that right now actually, because we're in the level. So the scenario I'm picturing here is I'm sort of going with the idea of maybe the entire game is just Gabby on the run or something. So in this map, she is running away. She's I don't know, maybe she's escaped from somewhere. I mean, you don't see a cat person every day. So she's escaped, and now she needs to get away from the city, but she needs to catch this train. which is behind this platform, but she doesn't have any money. So she's like, oh damn it. So now she has to like go around this map. Actually, you know what? I'll quickly just enable the game mode I've made for this, the collectathon mode. So in this new game mode here, so you spawn here. I haven't made the spawn point yet, but then you have like 2 minutes, 3 minutes or so to like go around this map and collect as many like the prerequisite amount of coins to be able to afford to get on the train station. But if you run out of time, the cops will come and restrain you. And that's just kind of that's the idea for this level. And it's more of an idea I've had for any other level, so I thought it'd be a cool concept. And this is based off a real place, I think I mentioned already. A real train station that I really like. And it's got some shopping centers in it too. So I thought it'd be a cool little area to explore. So I've got a bunch of these levels. And I maybe want to like tune up the mechanics a bit to better fit for this maybe. And I want you to be able to grind on these, but I haven't made any grind objects in here yet. Just getting the layout. But you can ride on walls and collect stuff. I haven't put the collectibles in yet either, but I'm just getting the layout. And then there's going to be areas. So there's this whole bit that we built. I'll try and go through it like level by level. So there's the first level, which has... I got to block off this bit down here actually. And it's just a bunch of escalators that kind of go up. And I want these sort of platforms to have some collectibles on them that you can collect. And maybe some obstacles too that you have to vault over and stuff. And then maybe when you get to the top, because then there's like a footbridge that goes into another area that I haven't built yet. And then that's like above the train station. And you can go in there and collect stuff. And then there's like a whole area down this way that I haven't built yet either. That's going to have some stuff. But yeah, I'm just getting an idea for like basing it off this area just to see where it goes. So yeah, that's what I've been building so far. I guess, yeah, it's different. It's different like this time because I can't just play through it start to finish yet because it's not finished. So it's different than my last level, but this is sort of what it's looking like so far. And yeah, I'm hopeful that I'll be able to finish this by next Friday so that I could ship it out and just see what people think when they play through it. I don't know, I want to see if there's something I can do with the mechanics that's like very quick that I could like do to make this a bit more fun. But I'll figure that out soon. Anyway, so that's sort of it for the moment. It's this big interchange. And I think it visually looks kind of cool. But I want to like flesh out the rest of this as well. And I want it to be able so that you can like run on these walls and collect stuff. And I want to make it so that in the higher levels you kind of have to like keep on the walls to stay up there, otherwise you fall. I think that'd create some tension. So I want to give that a try as well. So I'm just reading some chat questions. Yeah, my stream's not a 60 FPS stream because I am Australian broadband here, so I can't really do 60 FPS streams. If Gabby is a mutant of some sort, it might... Oh, what happened? Oh, yeah, so this is the game over state, so I ran out of time. So that's what'll happen. That'll actually happen now. And you get the option to retry or not. And yeah, so that's like the game over state. And then there's a game win state, but I haven't made that yet. Just gonna read some last minute questions and then I'll hop off. If Gabby is a mutant of some sort, it might make sense. It might make sense if the sorry, I think you spelt that wrong. Sense if the antagonist were more science military thing. Yeah, perhaps. I haven't quite thought about it too much, but I'm not good at creating bad guys. I like focusing on protagonists, but yeah, something like that perhaps. Some kind of authority. That's sort of what I'm thinking. But yeah, so I think that'll be it for today because I really gotta eat something. It's like almost 3 p.m. here and I haven't eaten, so I gotta do that. But yeah, so here's we got the map so far. I'm gonna probably work on this more next week. I don't know. I don't think I'll be free this weekend to do a stream, but maybe on, I don't know, Wednesday, Thursday or something. So yeah, stick around for that. Make sure to follow the Twitch channel so you get notified, and join the Discord because I always put an announcement out there, and then you can join the chat and say Discord gang, and you can do that without lying. So join the Discord, link down below. And if you haven't seen my latest video yet, which I put out about a week or so ago, make sure to check that out too. It's on my YouTube, link down below. And is there anything else I'm missing? I don't think so. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on Twitch, which I don't have. And yeah, so I'm gonna head off now. But I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Hope you guys learned something. Hopefully my rambling made sense. And I will look forward to seeing you all very soon. So yeah, I'll catch you guys all later. Thanks so much for the donations as well, guys. I really appreciate it. Helps me out a lot. So thank you so much for that. And without further ado, I'll see you guys later on. So thanks all for joining. I'll catch you all sometime later. So do all the stuff I told you, hit the bell and stuff, and yeah, I'll catch you guys soon. Bye bye.